this platform is independent, and we wanted to work with everyone across the spectrum. So folks are invited to share what they know, and the viewers makes their choice, and we ask the questions and we give just the opportunity to answer.
This craziness, man, I do not care. Why am I so anti-establishment? Because of what I've seen the establishment do to people. That's why I cannot be pro-establishment.
Power is in the hands of the people. And it really did. What we all witnessed is the government, they knew that they're heading in the wrong direction. They knew Gambians are speaking in the same voice.
What law in the books that says the government has power to come out and go after folks' private citizens' properties and demolish them because somehow the government interest?
The only way that we can salvage our country is when everybody that gets their hand dirty. Don't sit there with your expertise and just to procrastinate everything that people say or pontificate, what everybody says or does. Let's get our hands dirty.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. Eid Mubarak to the entire, my fellow panelists, and of course, all our viewers. The end of Ramadan, and you can tell people that went through this ritual or process in avoiding bad food and toxicity. You can even tell Brother Marong Mungiler, he went through a process. Man mi kuma gis sa xamne leray bangi genno exude.
Why not let people know na danga leram lerulo?
Come on now. Don't filibuster my opening. Relax. That's a question that's where, like Reagan said, we get so close and we got the hands of God right on our forehead. Malikum salam. Lerai bobu.
That's why I missed this program last week.
They've been eating food. They've been eating in the middle of the afternoon, and all these. You know how it is. Ñoo dem kër so dañoo dem ci restaurant yi di lekk gu bon, and you can tell from the way they look. But again, Eid Mubarak. It was a good one. Bismillah rahmaani rahim jaxal nañ ko ci alhamdulillah rabbil alamina yal nañ ko fekkee degen déwén ak jàmm mbooleem ku tune into this program today ak keneen yal nañ fekkee beneen Ramadan and another Eid. Because when everything is said and done, yes, that is the issue of the week. Pop Samba, how you doing, my brother, with your jersey? What's going on?
I am doing great. No, I'm gonna tell you, it's the finals of the Mbojo tournament. I'm gonna learn if you cup, you have the league, and then you have these cups. You have the Ninyala pool just for advertisement. So Arsenal because Arsenal has not won a trophy for a very, very, very long time. They've not won the league for 22 years or more. So guy play a Man City. So being the man I'm top from Nekani, you know what? Why not just wear the jersey of a winner? And we've won the league, 19 times, 20 times, So really real deal.
Sounds like a comment of a sore loser. Because
at least I know the teams.
That's the comment of a sore loser.
At least I know the teams and the players.
Arsenal has been kicking. The last time I look, you know G2G League B. You are right there at the bottom. So what
We are,
is
we are right where at bottom of what?
Mane,
We are third.
I'll be very surprised if you maintain it.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I mean, just saying.
Okay.
No, no, no. I
Haters will
missed you
always
last week. I understand you went through a retreat. I mean, that must be something, my brother. They call it the last 10 days of the Ramadan. People that are spiritual,
Yes.
the way of building that iman. And I can tell. So forehead be aglerayam. That tells me you've been somewhere. My brother, you definitely have been somewhere.
As I said, you know what they call Marsa?
Marsa?
You took me to Cotton and you played a video on for the people by the people. So I have to do a little bit of retreat to clean up a little bit. and you keep saying, "Oh, our spot." When me and my man went to that spot, I say, "You know what? It's time for that retreat." And I go, "Ya Allah, help me out, not Musa, to get me astray next time in December or January."
It was a cleansing exercise, like yeah.
I'm tired. You know, say, "Oh, you know," I say, "No. You know, let's sleep in dunya, more sleep in Jannah, inshallah. Let me go." Because Musa Yang, after many 15, 20 years, I didn't go to the nightclub. Musa Yang took me down there. Let me go down there and get closer and closer and closer. Lola Defon, you know.
That's what Musajin does. I saw your picture with Morjajo and
Sidibe.
Sidibe.
I'm like, oh my God, these were the Three Musketeers.
Those were
when
my
July
boys.
4th was July 4th. Yeah.
I remember Modu now, man. You know, you keep telling me you don't know Modu, man. But no. I even just the wife, what's her name? Sute, right? Is that wife? Is the wife's name Sute?
No, the wife is Seinabu.
Seinabu? For Sidibe?
Huh?
Sidibe, right?
No. Okay, Sidibe, the wife is Satu, yes.
Satu, yes.
The wife is Satu, yes. Yes, exactly. Yes, I always
Morjaju is one of the greatest orators ever to come out of that country, and he speaks like multiple languages so eloquently, and you know he is good. Those were Musajans when they were to live in July 4th. So they said time has changed. By this time, he would have already started advertising for July 4th. Yeah, guess what?
I'm telling you, man.
Connected.
They were bold and they were reformers, and they wanted to do big things. You know, I mean, that's how I'm wired. And they were there, though, definitely. I mean, they were not the only ones, no doubt. You know, it definitely takes an entire community to make things happen. But I can tell you, I mean, these guys were really in it. Morjaju, like Pasamba said, boy, he is, you're talking about master of ceremony. He speaks different languages. I mean, I'm not just talking about, I mean, really, he speaks Wolof. I mean, he speaks Mandinka, Karoninka, Jola, English, you name it. The guy is just unbelievable. He's unbelievable. And Sidibe is the, you're talking about Bubakar Sidiki. Ako hello Sariang. Where's my Salibo? Bubakar. Yes, Bubakar. Eid Mubarak, my brother. Yeah, so we were at the praying ground and then we took a picture. I'm like, you know what? Let me put it out there. I mean, these guys also, and they continue to be very active. You know, these are community activists, without a doubt. And, you know, anyway, when you talk about Ajera being the leading organization in the diaspora,
oh Lord Jesus,
it has a lot to do with things like that.
Here we go again.
Really made it happen. Obviously, there were other individuals, I mean, names that I can This, I mean, the Habib Bais, he was the leader, Salum. I mean, the Modunja is the Baseku. Among the women, Yamai, Yambombe. I mean, they just Hadijalo, you name it. I mean, I hate to, when you start listing names, people will say, my main man, Lamin Boy Chata. That guy, it's oh my God, a workaholic, just like yesterday. Let me just give an example what Boy is all about. The day before the Eid prayers, we had to go to the hall to get it ready, And then, of course, Alaji Kebe. Alaji Kebe, he is the chairperson of the Eid committee. He does all the logistics. You know how Gambians are. The moment you're the leader of something, then you like jibble yip. You do all the work. That's how Gambians are. So Kebe was there at the hall. And we knew that one guy was going to be there. And then, of course, Yamai was there. I was there. And then there was Pasek Haidara. Mumtamit, man. He's the PA guy. He provides the PA for free every and most of these Gamo in there, he's the one who provides the PA. And then Boy Chata he wasn't there yet, and everybody was saying, Boy de Monfi can go for the judo. But everybody kept saying, if Boy is not here, there is really something. And it didn't take long for him to came, and he came late. But this is the same guy, even after Julibi, he would make sure that everything gets done. You're talking about Pap Samba, in your thing, getting your hands dirty. That's what this guy does. And, there are other people, the Usman Manjangs of this world. I hate to get myself in this trap and leaving anybody out, because there are a lot of people that I haven't named. The Salum Jais and
Kura, Abla Jai's sister. You said Seni Fai Smoaji, they said. Seni Fai.
Koto Seni Fai, exactly. Puri.
And Mary's dad too, right?
Oh, you mean Kebajalo?
Abla Jai, Lekwi.
Ablai, not Letty.
Yes. Oh my God. That guy. We went to war. I'm telling you, he was yes, without a doubt. You cannot talk about Atlanta without mentioning Ablai Jai. He's the mover and the shaker, definitely. The guy had that you can't.
Boubacar Siddiq is soliciting your invitation. He says a lot has happened. When are you going to get him back on the platform? I'm 100% sure. Boubacar.
You don't have to ask me twice. I can't wait to bring you back, my brother. When am I coming back?
And talking about that, next week, Dr. Cisse will be joining us. To tell us what the government is doing great, and doctor being doctor, so we look forward to having him. And I think we need we need Mr. Dawa now to come, and lay out the vision. The very core we are now entering into election year proper. But Musa,
so Nyang Mune, we outsource our deliverables. That's a
loaded one.
Huh?
That's a loaded one.
It's a loaded one when we outsource our deliverables.
So in terms of what? Is he talking about for the people, by the people's deliverables? Huh?
Knowing Yang, I'm sure I'm not feeling.
I'm not lujira.
I'm not lenen lumchi kalang. Lumchi longa.
Oh. Our deliverables, we sit on every Friday, man, and I think we deliver. We have the input and our output. We talk to our audience. So I'm not sure if he's talking about the government, but that is loaded. He needs to decipher it a little bit. As far as for the people, by the people goes, Musa Ajeng always deliver on Sundays. So
invite Yusuf Taylor, he said.
Because of this media thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he does what he meant by
Yeah. Okay.
I most you maybe before you them into it proper. I don't know whether you just wanted to play the art so that you them look at cheese straight because of your guys were having their quality political jamboree again. That antiquated, outdated, gathering. But anyway,
You
being
call it
Ahmad
outdated?
Agbaro.
You call it outdated?
It is outdated. It needs to go away. It has outlived its purpose a long time ago.
I don't know about that. It really comes down to what you can do about it. I mean, a reformer, anytime you want to engage people and you have to talk to them during whether it's Korite or Tobaski or any time for that matter, it can be a positive thing unless and until you defeat the purpose and make it something else.
So,
But
so
anytime engagement,
let me put it this way, Musa. At least for the past 32 years, it has not lived to its expectations. We remember during when Jawara was there, and Jawara had this Ayatul Kursi, that's the thing that he would always, recite. They exchange prayers. While Banjul will sometimes make concerns about this thing, and then the gathering would just, everybody would go home. Jame came and turned it into something else. His arena to threaten people and engage in all this foolishness. Baronyo Fumnekani, we were thinking now it's going to be changed into something. It is now a political Mombo Jumbo Sibopam. That's just what it is now. It's just a political gathering. Baro organizes that every day anyway at the State House. There's no need for security.
I agree.
Yeah.
But you have to go back to saying, okay, what was the raison d'etre? Why did they decide they needed something like this? Going all the way back during the colonial era. Of course, Banjul was the political base. I mean, and this was put together as a way of communicating to the government at that time, or you could say to the what do they call them again? I don't want to say the colonizers. There was another name for it, but anyway,
the imperialists, the colonizers,
or to communicate to Her Majesty that these are the issues that we have. So I think that in itself, and of course, during the First Republic, they thought now that we have our own president, every new them, because all of it, you have to look at this tradition. During these times, that's when you go in fechali kolere, seti ninyi, ngen balante acha, balma acha.
You can do that at the mosque.
But that's what I'm saying. When the people at the seat of government, for the community to come, and then they have an engagement, the rationale I don't think is bad. It's what they made out of it that I totally agree with you.
Musa.
It has become absolutely nothing. It defeats the purpose.
It's just like about these nominated members in the National Assembly. Because there was a time when the protectorate could not vote.
Correct.
So they said, let's come with this system where now we'll nominate their representatives. It used to be the chiefs and all that stuff that they represent.
Correct.
That they would to come and represent those communities. Now we have maintained that tradition,
right,
to where now it has defeated the purpose. Now the loudest defenders of the government in power are the ones that are nominated into office. Because let me ask you an example. What purpose does Sirinjai have as a nominated member in the National Assembly? Who is he representing?
Nobody.
What is he? He represents nothing. What Sibor? So you have all these people, and you go to an election, you are defeated, like Fatoumata Jawara,
right,
and the president decided, well, you were rejected by your people, but I'm nominating you to represent the people. Which people is he representing? None. Yeah. So this is the problem. There are three things that need to be getting away from. Economy one, nako baye guy, send granite producing be they made us to believe that's the only thing we can produce, and we just fixated on it. We are just very lazy, Musa. We don't think outside of the box. Nominated members should be out the door. It's not a democratic process. People who want to represent in parliament, let them duke it out. Go stand before the people and let the people vote for you to see whether you're worthy of their representation or not. Two, this attestation thing should be getting rid of, because it is a recipe for electoral fraud And that's what it is. A lot of people are getting voters cards who ordinarily would not have been given a voters card because the person that is, what do they call them? The attesters, or I don't know whether that's the right word, do not even understand what qualifies one to become a citizen of a country in the first place. So solve the citizenship issue first before you come with attestation. Because just because Musa Jeng was born in Kawur and Bangkongite Yang for Togon doesn't necessarily make Musa Jeng constitutionally a Gambian. That's one other issue that they need to, and this made the Banjul elders thing. To listen to Baiseni Seka, Suma Kotobi, whom I have known for a very long time, to stand there and turn this whole thing into Adama Barakai, Monkai, then Kwaji, Nunen Tulejite, then Kwahamalan, Adama Ahmad Banyo, why election again, you see, why they get a fatally king of Hamne. So it's this whole nonsense, and you have Barrow come there talking about how Makanako Wanewa Sangor, no Abdai Wada Dinaka President Mune did, Nureko Kuino, Haumanan, Mohamed Haumanaka, Banya 3 years, Adama Baroki, Sumane 3 years, Ahmad Banemano, your Fatelulu, just begin. So everything has been turned into a spectacle and it's not being done to the interest of the Gambian people. So Musa, we can do much better as a country with our nominated members, attestation, and meeting the Banjul elders. It doesn't make sense.
Because meeting the Banjul elders, mom, is not a constitutional requirement. For me, that can be something scrap or maybe reform it. It all depends. Engaging the citizens is always a good thing, but I absolutely agree with you. What they've done with it, clearly we can do without it because it doesn't really help anyone. They just use it. The government uses it and just all you have to do is just listen to them, definitely. But again, you have the right leadership, the right reforms. It can be reformed. That's all I'm saying. But do I agree with you as it is now? It's outdated? Absolutely. Nyang call it the relic of the past? Absolutely. I do totally agree. And all the other issues that you raised, like attestations and, these nominated members. The nominated member thing, the 2020 draft took care of it. Unfortunately, it didn't pass. All you need to do is, on day one, bring a new constitution and get rid of that. We don't really need the executive to have a nominating people into the National Assembly. We know
right.
what
and they are voting members too.
Really?
And then you have people like Fabakari, Tomong Jata,
Can it be changed? It can definitely be changed. It can definitely be done. Now, it's going to take a leader who is willing to come and say, you know what, on day one, I'm going to make the reforms that are necessary. And hopefully, too, we have to look at ourselves, the population, the voting population, whatever is out there, we have a lot to do with it. So, Brother Maron.
And sorry, Desaria. And you know the nominated member thing, let us see, is this, it's not an entrenched clause of the Constitution.
It can be easily
thing. But, and then the attestation, don't only blame NPP. When that thing was put before the parliament, their act, it's an act of parliament. It's not even a constitutional thing. It's an act. Okay? It went UDPO, DOIWO, NRPO, nakala nyo intura, no to the Holocaust deniers, no to Alliance, and all these people were comfortable with it because everybody was looking at the political aspect of it. And it's outdated. It doesn't make sense. And like Yaksin said, what is stopping us in this 21st century? When Musa Jeng is born and we can ascertain that Musa Jeng is a Gambian to issue a birth certificate right there and then. Or decentralize it. Even if you're going to issue it there, send Keiti Nosi Lenyan Yobu. You don't need to travel all the way from Masembe to Banjul to get a birth certificate. You can decentralize it easily. If you can make these immigration officers to travel all the way to Spain, China, wherever, and you get your IDs. Waji Gambia is too small. They can do it there. But sorry, I'm sorry.
No problem. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree, definitely. We should get away with this. And yeah, Musa, true. This nominated member thing was a part of the 2020 Constitution. So
the draft.
Yeah, but it's a program. But yeah, these are old, and it becomes more of a political rally than having a conversation like everything else, you know.
Yeah.
The mid the farmers tour when you spend millions and millions of dollars and
Right.
that's it, and it becomes becoming going after your political opponents. I mean, I thought it's more of a listening session whereby you take feedback from the citizens and implement those policies in your government. But it's more of a time to punch everyone else. And Mr. Ba keeps saying, talking bungums, and I think that's what they do. But yeah, we need to get rid of that. Especially, I mean, did you guys watch last week at the National Assembly between Mr. Cisse and whoever was presiding over at the Parliament?
It was City
He
Guy.
said,
The joke.
he said he was
The
sitting-
West, the name for Kiang West, Lamin Cisse.
Uh-huh. I missed that.
Yeah,
What was it
It's-
about? What happened?
There's sometimes it can be contentious, especially, during Ramadan, tempers flare and, they were back and forth and he has to order the, what's called it, the how do they call that
The
in
clerk?
Parliament? Huh?
The clerk?
No. Sergeant of Arms, Sergeant of Arms to remove the name,
Oh, really?
And it's
Yeah,
always
so-
when sitting guy is there when you have that foolishness. The guy does not understand decorum. He does not even, or he said you see, when people talk about him, you think it's hatred. No, it's just, he makes a mockery of our country and our governance system. You listen to the guy. I don't know whether you watch him when he is speaker. Was that the guy? Oh my God. I would rather go and see anybody in the streets and say, come on, president, you see National Assembly with than that guy. He's a joker, but
Well, the problem is he wouldn't let these folks have an honest debate. I mean, he will shut anything down that is not in the interest of the executive. I mean, I watched, what was it, the vice president. I mean, there was a question and answer about the 50 million grant at MPP. And those are very valid questions, though. I mean, that's the role of the name. But basically, he was saying, he's not here to answer questions on behalf of MPP, that is out of order or something like that, and that's sad. I mean, the role of the NAMS is to ask questions, whether it's the vice president or the ministers, but he intervenes a lot, even more so than Fabakari. Fabakari will let the conversation go sometime, but not him. He thinks and I think, I kind of relate to the fundamental question of why do we even have a nominated member who can kick out a NAM who has been voted by his constituents to represent them in Parliament. So, just because they have a slight disagreement in the procedure or whatever. So it was back and forth, But it's pretty sad and that's something that we need to be regular. Maybe Fabakar needs to sit there more, man. But I think he was traveling or something.
you are right. And Fabakary, I don't like him.
Yeah.
But when he is there, you see professionalism as speaker. I don't like some of his rulings, but all this nonsense this circus that goes around when CD Tapalapa Jai sits there, we are not a serious people.
But Pasamba, I think this attestation thing, though, in as much as we can see how it can really allow people that are not supposed to vote in our elections. And I get that. But there is also another reality, though. When a government fails to create structures and systems in place to make sure every Gambian either has a birth certificate or something that one can say that, okay, I am a Gambian. And then there is this issue of citizenship, that just being born in the Gambia doesn't make you one. Now, what are you going to do with someone who happens to be born in Belgor? A system was not in place. Batunjol, a system was not in place. In Sutukoba, a system was not in place. The guy is in his 40s. He's as Gambian as you and I or anybody else for that matter. But because of a failure of a government, you are saying he doesn't have a birth certificate or any document for that matter, which is obviously not his fault. And you're telling me this person needs to be disenfranchised. He cannot vote because of the government's failure. That's where the problem is. Now, how do you solve it? Are you just going to be drastic and say attestation, put it away? When you do that, then there are certain people, they will not be able to be franchised and then participate in the election process. And that's a problem. How do you go about reforming it? I think that's where it's, so this whole idea, well, attestation is bad, get rid of it. I don't know. There's a reason why across the board, political parties, maybe closer to the voters, they're like, I don't know, this may not be there is a way of reforming it. But I think we also have to be a little bit careful here. Because there's a reason why just because of you were born Charles Street or whatever the hell you were born, and you had access to Butterfell, they hand you over a birth certificate. Somebody could do the Batinjol, unfortunately, did not have that. Is this his fault? That's the question. So how do you go about it? Okay, Kimoy Al-Kalibi, you see, it's like any other thing. It's the people that are implementing it that are abusing it. It's not the process, whether it's bad. It's the people that are implementing it, exploiting it like everything else we do in the Gambia. It's not only about attestation. The same thing about even getting a passport. I'm telling you, non-Gambians are getting it. People are abusing it. Corruption at the core. You and I, people like us, there's absolutely no regulatory mechanism when it comes to these things. So the question now is, do you disenfranchise the person who doesn't have the document? Fala affaire bi nekk. What say you?
Musa, I'm listening to you.
Yeah, Hamgaban Isuga Amos. Let's look at what brought about this attestation, Sibopa. It's the same thing that brought about this nominated membership. During the colonial period, Sibopa, or even after independence, we did not have the facilities to where all these areas that you name. Your Oramane suburb city, you say Adbisa Oramane, we don't know that is the real one because Oramane after being
no, when I was born in a town, we have a board of health, we have a dispensary. My birth certificate is original. I can tell you that.
Your Oramane, because Danglewa has like say Mary. Can you do Munela Gisgaba Teni Busuraba Bune? You understand? Because the facilities were not there for people to have access to these things. So this was why, you know what, to solve this problem, let's have this attestation where the alcalos will be able to vie for these people and say, you know what, this person definitely is a Gambian. Things have changed, Musa.
It hasn't changed.
No.
We're still dealing with the legacy of it. I'm just saying.
Manela, the problem, the joke is on us as a country. Because all the colonial legacies, the colonial, whatever they left behind, is still there. We as a people have not acted to move beyond that.
I totally agree.
This is why, in my summation, if the government can readily send immigration officers to Spain and all these other countries, they should be able to do it for everybody in that country. Musa.
So you want to disenfranchise the person who doesn't have those documents. Then somehow then he's not a Gambian. The default is Kidu Gambian.
So Luma Moy, let's look at what qualifies one as a Gambian in the first place. The problem Moy, if the alcalos were able to tell you what the constitution says about one being a Gambian, I don't think the question is so heavy for ordinary alcalos to be able to answer. Yang understand, Lumani?
So I'm be like, I see you kind of getting into that as if these people don't understand what it means to be a Gambian. I think that it's much deeper than that. I don't even think that you're just going to say that these alcalos are ignorant, so they're not in a position.
I'm not saying, Musa, this is a country where... Musa, this is a country... Why devil
you're saying.
Okay, this is a country. This is a country, Musa, Bohamneni. Cabinet ministers cannot even tell you the correct dimension of a flag.
Man, it's a flag.
No. Let's just be serious. It's part of. If you open your constitution, like page 122, you will see the dimension. No, definitely. So these are things in their face every day. We've had it flying for 60 years. People cannot even tell you what it is. So that's where the problem is. So what I'm saying, if you want to get rid of, I want it to be gotten rid of. But I also want, when we are doing that, to make sure every Gambian has equal opportunity to have a birth certificate, and that is not a difficult thing to do. When Barrow is telling us that all these things that they are talking about, Barrow will tell you. Mune Banjul dañ ko wax ne daga waaw xam nga ci jumaa ji dañ ko war a xaw ma concrete mu ne loolu kay dinaa ko def su ma ci dugal suma xaalis duma ko def nu ma gis nii lu ma bëgg a def naa ko def. This is the same guy who said ne when he was tallying Banjul bu ñoo concrete Banjul, the IMF and World Bank say we will not help mu ne no ñun we are going to make it happen. So if they have the will to make it happen, Musa, they should make it happen.
Let me tell you,
it's rather unfortunate in the 21st century Gambians are still relying on attestations to be able to be recognized as Gambians.
In good old USA, they've had democracy for 400 years. Right now, at this juncture, there is a debate out there. They call it voter suppression. And Democrats are fighting like hell, basically saying, look, there are certain Americans that don't even have birth certificates. So what are you going to do? Are you going to disenfranchise them?
Okay, let's look at.
I'm just telling you.
No, let's look at America, Sibopa.
We need America here. Voter ID laws.
No, let's look at. I'm going to say, what you're doing? Again, I'm going to use the D word, dangerous. You are trying to give these lazy governments that we have, successive governments, an out. Here is the issue. In the United States, which has over 320 million people that live here, a country where blacks at one point were considered 1/5 of a human being, or 3/5 of a human being, or whatever it was, it's not the Gambia. We have a population in this country that had been suppressed, and we remember the poll taxes that people used to pay. We didn't have that in the Gambia. Musa, for the Gambia to have immigration posts around the country is much easier for us than it is for even America, even though America come. We are a small country. All I'm saying, Musa Moine, let's give every Gambian the opportunity to have their IDs when they are born. And even look at yours, when you're registering for when you're getting your ID from Nekani in the United States, what do they ask you? What documents do you have to produce? They've even upgraded their ID to where, what do they call it now? The one that you can use now to go past the airports. If you don't, you will not be able to use it.
Yeah. Federal ID. That's what it is.
And to do that, you have to prove that you can legally have it. Luma Moy Musa, let's stop making excuses.
No, man, I'm not making excuses there. I'm just saying there.
America's problem is about racism. It's not
meaning us as a people. We need to get
real ID. That's what it's called. Real ID. That's what they call it.
We need to get our stuff together before we come with this blanket statement and say attestation out of the way. Let's get our stuff together. Even census, Gambia, do you know when they go out there, the enumerators doing census? You know, most Gambians, they don't know their birth. I mean, they don't know. So, nakalako guy they were.
Send birth dates.
Send birth dates. See, so sometimes they'll have to come up with landmark. Come linga warene ba wafi kawur bidano. Gana time bobulo judu. So they use that as a birth certificate.
But look at our population most.
So lima moine, government needs to get our act together. Let's reform it before you ban attestation. Now, do I believe
that's what I'm saying? I'm not saying just.
Let me tell you, attestation Rexa do affair bide. Gambia, you don't even need to be attested. You can get a passport. You can get a national ID without even being a Gambian or even having a birth certificate. So, if you think for a minute attestation is the problem, you're mistaken. I mean, people wouldn't buy attestation visa. Them jelly affair be. The passport itself, all you need is about $3,000, $5,000. All you do is bribe an immigration officer. Passport them
and again, the joke is on us as a country.
Exactly. And I mean with you there. Man, I'm not supporting attestation. There is a reason why even political parties across the board, they're very careful in kind of just dismissing it. Let's eliminate it. We need a real government, a real leader who is willing to put his neck and make the decisions that are necessary for that country to happen. Reform Lenyowa, reform first. My brother, before you come up with these radical blanket statements, you know how you activists on steroids are sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't work, my brother. It really doesn't.
We've been fighting it forever, and this was why in 1992. When I say I'm talking about.
When you say we, who are you talking about? Because
when I said we, I'm talking about DOI. This was
attestation.
No, this is why DOI went even further and went to the African Commission on Human and People's Rights to compel the Gambia government to have street names and compound numbers, so that if Musa Jeng is registered at number 1 Sariyang Street, you can go and verify whether you have a Musa Jeng. You know, like can you solve it? Naka leel fu mu nekk nii ñu ne waa kooku de fii la dëkk ba kooku de kenn xamu ko fi.
Man le xamal lo ci boré suma leel dama wax suma nel fondong. Now he's insulting me.
And when we went, including when we went to court, including the establishment of the Independent Electoral Commission, and they believe that is one way of helping to curb electoral fraud, but they don't want to do it. We are not serious.
So let me ask you this: do you think DOI as a party is against attestation as things are right now, or would they? Would they lean on gradualism and put the structures in place before total ban of attestation?
This is what I believe DOI believes. DOI also believes that anybody who is born in the Gambia should be a Gambian.
Correct.
We believe that.
I believe that too.
We also believe that every Gambian should be given access to have, unhindered access to have the national documents. And when you have that, Musa, it solves every problem. And let's look at our population. Ñi nga xamne ñoo lan dundu naka pono naka na to teni kawur ba bonné ñep dé nañ. Most of them are gone.
That's true.
A lot of people, Gambians now, the oldest would be mangi judu in the 50s. A lot of them in the 60s or after independence or very close to independence. So the excuse should not be there. We just have to
I think you have been very simplistic. There are villages you go in the Gambia, people that were born in the 80s. I am telling you, there was nothing in place. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the people that were born in the villages. Ñooñu daal boy bi midwife bi ñëw na rek topato nañ gune gi su ëllëgee ñu ne week bi la tuddu gi ñu tuddu affaire bi. Absolutely nothing. Government wouldn't have anything to do with it. And these were people born in the 80s.
And that's our failure.
Okay, so what do you do with somebody like that?
And Musa
Koku, I can guarantee you, he was able to get a driver's license. I'm telling you. And most
it's easier to get a voter's card in the Gambia than it is to get a driver's license.
Attestation being as the big problem. I mean,
I'm talking about the attestation because we're talking about electioneering. That's what I'm saying.
So I'm just
getting documents in the Gambia is just something else.
So Salomon, you remind us what makes a Gambian per the constitution.
In the Gambia, Sibopam, to be a citizen of the Gambia, one or both parents
have to be a Gambian.
Or your grandparents make a Gambian. Well, if your grandparent is a Gambian, then automatically one of your parents will be a Gambian.
So,
then you can also be a Gambian by, they call it a Gambian by descent also. Like some of us in the diaspora whose kids were born here,
yes,
by virtue of being Gambians, yes, they can also be Gambian. In other countries, like in the United States, which Trump is trying to end, when you're born here, you are an American citizen.
So bad right citizenship.
Wow.
Actually, the Supreme Court is dealing with
so constitution, our position and DOI is that if you're born in the Gambia, you are a Gambian. Some other people be very careful because the population thing,
soon to that.
So I've been listening to both of you for a while, and here's I'm gonna throw a wrench into the whole thing. So now, if your parents, for example, parents been living in the Gambia for 20 something years, they didn't care, as Musa, you just rightfully say, they don't care about changing their status, but those kids are born in the Gambia. Are they Gambians or non-Gambians?
They're not.
They're not.
Why?
This guy in the Gambia.
Why?
Because
in the United States, your naturalization is if you're married and stay married 3 years, otherwise 5 years. In the Gambia, you have to have lived in the Gambia for 15 years.
15 years, correct.
To start that process of naturalization. So we have to look into all these things, Sibopam. Because I had the naturalization form. There was this person who was trying to get it, and to the person who was too cumbersome. And I was reviewing it. So that's the thing. So unless your status are regularized, that person, your kids are not Gambians.
No, bro. If you're talking about the biggest nonsense on the face of the earth, man, that's our situation. A lot of people coming to Gambia, ni from Senegal, ni from Mali, ni from Guinea. No, I'm for Dom. I think they say Domi Gambian. I'm telling you. I mean, to me, that's the cleaner way. I remember during the time of the constitutional debate, we were going back and forth with that, And people, even if you look at some of our forefathers, let's take the first president, for instance. Jawara.
Yep.
For instance. Jawara's, I mean, was it his father? He's the one, Soride Bugambisa. So both of his parents, right? Were they were Gambian?
I think so. I think at least one of them was. I know that his forefathers have some Malian connection.
Right. Soride Kairaba. But I think maybe his dad, Almami, was born in the Gambia. Maybe.
But you see, it was in the 1970 Constitution. It was in the 1997 Constitution. And I even want to believe, I'll pull up the 1964 Constitution, all that. Chances are, because we're just lazy, we just moved on, changed some of the things regularly. We just
people who believe this citizenship. I remember soon to Dafe Mom, his position was clear. he
what?
Birthright citizenship. The fact that you were just born in the Gambia, that shouldn't make you a Gambian.
That is a very crazy idea. And why are we complaining if Trump wants to get rid of that? And I think that's why people are fighting that here, right?
Exactly.
So if you're born, I mean, if you live in somewhere and your parents came in, Musa, this is discriminatory. I mean, the Gambia has their own 14th Amendment and they got rid of it. So we shouldn't be complaining here. You came here, I came here, Coach came here, we have kids. Exactly. I mean, when they're born, it doesn't matter. They are citizens. That's what the Constitution says. And I think the energy should be directed to that. It's so discriminatory. Somebody can live in the Gambia for over 30 years. And establish businesses and all that stuff, have a compound, build, work. People are given visas and work authorization status, change of status, adjustments of status because they are professionals. They are recruiting them from other countries and making them come here.
Exactly.
And we have the audacity to complain about this. I mean, you got to look at internally what our process is right now. I mean, think about it. If those people are disfranchised,
yes,
not to vote, or cannot be issued as attestation, do you think that is fair?
Man, bro. And another thing about this whole citizenship debate. And I remember during the time of the CRC, the debate that was going on, my position was like, look, Gambia is a small country. I mean, we need people. We don't even have the luxury to say, you're not a Gambian. We're talking about a country of less than 3 million people. Well, we need more than anything else. We need.
No, we do. We do, definitely. We do. I agree with you on this one, Musa. Definitely. We do.
It's a country that survives entirely on diasporans. Nobody stays in the country. If you want to be somebody, you have to leave the country.
Exactly. So, I'm a lot luxury, bisa. Nanwa, Nekolo Gambian. You can't neka Gambian. You put in sonal. What do you guys have? Why is being a Gambian so kind of put it up there? I mean, I'm not patriotic or nationalistic. I am. I can't help it. I cannot help that. But all I'm saying is, this whole idea that we're going to discourage people from being citizens because they vote a certain way. That is the biggest mistake. I'm telling you, you can take your message to anyone. If it is an immigrant who just came to the country, don't think for a minute that he's going to vote a certain way, unless you make them feel like they have to vote a certain way. Again,
I'm going to learn more interested talking about this citizenship thing. Small brother, I mention him every time I fall. He was explaining about the UT ID.
Yeah.
He said the guy was in the force. Yo, Mafal, yo, nyari so name ga. Muneko, what do you mean? Muneko, nakala need today, Mafal. So mune after neko, you know what? You will need alkali visa pulmo attest naga. Muneko no koko munma attest. Koko bo papa amdu joge kasaba sinyo fini. Sila feka. So that person cannot cut attest. Na man gam.
We don't need NIT. We need productive NIT.
Well,
but at least we need consumers. At least we need consumers.
I think
to create a market.
I think the energy should be directed, and I agree, to break down the process, to simplify it. Mm-hmm. What does being a Gambian constitute? What processes individual needs to take to get proper documentation? I think that is very important, and you cannot disenfranchise people just because you think they don't earn it. Who makes that determination? You know. So I mean, elsewhere, Europe, everywhere, you have to go through a process, right? So I mean, it's cumbersome, and you're saying you don't. If you're born in Gambia, except your parents are Gambian, you're not gonna answer.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's Article 9 of the Constitution, Mom. That's what it is. Unless one of both parents are Gambians, you're not.
Kazamba, I think that we need to change the Constitution.
No, we need to. And this is from the colonial period, same constitutional living book. That's where it is. We just carried it over.
We need to fix our institutions. The institutions that are basically giving out Gambian documents. That is a very important process that needs to be respected. We can't compromise that. Because the moment you do that, then definitely all this constitutional citizenship is neither here nor there. It's not going to amount to anything. If man majoge Senegal, I've been in the Gambia 3 years, nigga a businessman, I can just go out there and get myself a passport. Most of them can. We all know that. So that person automatically
and you know what is funny too? If you read the Constitution, there are so many things that they are asking for parliamentary acts to make it better. For example, is the dual citizenship. A citizen of the Gambia who acquires the citizenship of another country may, if he or she desires, retain his or her citizenship of the Gambia. So meaning just by virtue of Musa Jang Nekana American doesn't mean that Musa Jang is not Gambian. That is if he chooses to retain his citizenship. Subsection 2, when an act of the National Assembly may provide for the better implementation of this section. And I can guarantee you no such act has ever been tabled or written. No.
Maybe it's just getting rid of the dual citizenship too whilst they are at it. It looks like.
Yeah, it's just like some people will just go and if you renounce it, you've renounced your citizenship, so nobody can do. But it's your choice. You can be a citizen of America, China, Japan, and everybody, and still be a citizen of the Gambia. So. But you cannot be a minister.
I think energy should be directed, and even so with the political leaders, to have a conversation on this. I mean, how many people are out there? Before you direct your energy towards attestation, what qualifies someone to be Gambian, especially if those, those individuals are born in the Gambia.
They should start with the people in Ghana town. Those people have
Correct.
lived there.
Correct.
Everything about
I saw one of the town halls with Cam, the name for sign mentoring, and there was this person, a Ghanaian, can speak fluent Mandinka and says, I was born here, blah, 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 blah. But I have kids. So he says I married someone here, and even so, if that individual married a Gambian citizen, does that qualify that individual to be?
Yes, because you can naturalize after living in the Gambia for 15 years. And you can also
no. But what I'm trying to say is, why do you have to wait 15 years if you married a Gambian citizen?
No, 7 years. 7 years. Marriage is 7 years. 7 years, because subsection 11 is a person who is married to a citizen of the Gambia since the marriage has been ordinarily resident in the Gambia for a period of not less than 7 years, or has been married to an other who was, during the subsistence of the marriage, a citizen of the Gambia since the end of the marriage, whether by annulment, divorce, or death, has been ordinary resident for a period of not less than 7 years, shall be entitled, upon making application in such manner as may be prescribed by or under an act of the National Assembly, to be registered as a citizen of the Gambia. And I can guarantee you, I'm going to ask these National Assembly members, there is no such act, Sibopam, that is even talking about the naturalization of people who've been married to Gambians and have necessarily been resident of the Gambia for 7 years. It's just our laziness. When you send people to Parliament who are more interested in the cars that they drive, okay, and the salaries that they are paid, and the title behind their names, honorable, and other than doing, most of these people, you tell them they may not even know it because they don't read it, they don't understand it. They even struggle with their standing orders. See what up? You hear them, point of order, standing order. No, you quoted the wrong one. So it's like, anyway.
So Kimune Kijera, you said, Uncle Musa, I think there are lots of factors why governments are not very keen on automatic birthright citizenship. Gambia is densely populated than most of the countries in the world, which make natural resources very scarce, he said. In 2 decades' time, there will be lots of scramble for natural resources in the Gambia. Sometimes I hear Americans making that same argument.
Making that same argument. And you also have, Kemo, even though you made a very legitimate point, let's also look at one thing. The Gambians, I don't think per capita, you have a country in Africa that travels as much as Gambians.
Yeah, he took it.
Nobody is there. Everybody leaves the country and goes. And in fact, it is a country that relies entirely on remittances to survive.
Yeah.
The families that are struggling are the ones that do not have anybody abroad. And this is why Mulene Jaral Nijai said Gatayi, they would go and sell their cattle, sell everything, just to make sure, hoping the Musa Jeng would be able to have the courage to just muster, whatever comes with it to go abroad, so that they would live a better life. But the thing is, we cannot also be, I don't want to use the word hypocritical, but our argument sometimes it is. When Europe and America talk about immigration issues, we have a problem with it. These are the same dog whistle argument that they make.
Exactly.
This is a global world. People travel everywhere, go wherever they go, and all that stuff.
Well, I agree with them. So, densely populated within the greater Banjul area, I'm like, oh my God. When you go to Turntable or some of these population centers, yes. But the Gambia itself, I go to Kaur, Gisuma Nitsa.
Because of the way New York development.
These are major towns you have Nitnekufa. So Gambia densely populated? I don't think so. The greater Banjul area, yes. Can government bring up policies and programs, implement them across the country? They can. When that happens, the densely populated problem that we have within the greater Banjul area will eventually be reduced.
And that's just what it is.
So Musa, I wanted to share this because Sadio shared this with me. So he says for those children, the Lord gives them the option to become Gambian citizen after reaching age of majority 18. A child born in Gambia to 2 non-citizen parents does not automatically become a Gambian citizen just because they were born there. At 18, as an adult, there are 2 realistic paths to citizenship. Naturalization, which is available to someone who has lived lawfully in the Gambia for at least 5 years, and I believe it's for good character and registration, which may be available depending on specific circumstances, such as if a parent later become a citizen or if the child show another qualifying connection to the Gambia. Given that this child has grown up there, they likely meet the basic requirement for at least one of these options and should contact the GID. There's a process, but most people don't know. No public sensitization. So I think the question is, if you're saying at least 5 years, if someone lives there 18 years, I think, and that's where I don't understand whether that is concurrent in their 18 years or they have to wait another 5 years in addition to their 18. So I think NAMS, this is their role. These are Musa. There might be some good thing coming out of this whole thing. You know, if they made it a process and follow it through and streamline the process and work with the immigration department. And I think there is something that good can come out of it. You know.
And what I wanted to add, Sasibo Bamsarian, I hear people talking about, oh, we are overpopulated. That has not stopped people from coming and owning properties in that country. There is no law that stop people from owning a property in the Gambia. Most of the businesses that are running there are being run by people who are from other countries. They may not be Gambians, but they live in the Gambia and have lived in the Gambia for so long. Just look at Ghana Town. Yeah, now, you say that they are not all Gambians, but they have lived there for decades. The space that they live is still being occupied by those people. So why not find a way of regularizing their status rather than just saying, you know what, because we are so densely populated, we cannot have them as citizens. They live there. Unless you close your borders and say nobody comes in, because the population that we have is not just as virtue by as a result of because man, I believe judo Gambia. Man, my estimation, I think they are not 1.5 million people. So the others are there. You cannot kick them out of the country. They're there, they're doing business, they're working, they're doing all these things. So why not make it much easier for people to be able to acquire this document so that you'll be able to regularize them? Because if you don't have most of these papers, you don't have ID. You're running around in the country. You can bribe somebody to start whatever you want to do and all that. When they commit crime, how will you be able to, in fact, get to these people? So let's find a way of making it work for everybody. But I don't think that just the population part of it is an excuse anymore, because they still live there anyway, with or without being citizens.
And Musa also said something here that caught my attention. So just a voting pattern, but we want to make sure we're clear. If we say don't disenfranchise folks, we're not talking about going out of the Gambian jurisdiction, pick a bunch of people, bring them in, issue them out attestation, and tell them to vote. That should be discouraged at every moment, and every Gambian should stand up against such practices. Because they are not qualified to vote by every measure to vote. That's
the problem. Because if you go out, you're going to Gabon or you're going to France, you're going to when I challenged the immigration office there on their Facebook page on this. When they were going to, I think they were going to Spain or somewhere, and say, oh, all you need is attestation. I'm like, what do you mean attestation? Now you're issuing now government documents to people. You cannot even ascertain whether they are Gambians or not. Maybe if you had said, you know what, we are going. If you have an expired passport, we will renew your passport. But we are going to China, we are going to Japan, we are going to, so anybody can come. Let's say the Ghanaian from Ghana Town. And speak very fluent Mandinka and stuff. You know, when a Gambian speaks, you know he's a Gambian. So the accent will be there, the Gambian accent. How are you going to deny that person the documentation? So it's a whole bunch of nonsense. And I think the focus should be, how do we better our, like I agree with Boy Fadi for the first time, digitalization is the answer. And that's what we need to do. So they may Board of Health. Musa Jen cannot find his birth certificate because he was born such a long time ago. They have all these things. It's like papers packed
They don't have to. I have my birth certificate. I was born in a town, the capital of Salum, like Yang Jai said. I mean, Kawur Primary School. When
Musa, do you have your birth certificate for real?
Yes, original. No, new time, Bobo. We got Board of Health. We get
the original is a bigger one. Man, I lost mine.
All of that with the red stamp.
Yep.
Red Libby.
Mine, I lost mine though.
Huh?
Yeah, my thing.
I lost mine.
Oh, you lost yours? So you see, we can question Sariang's citizenship now.
No. You cannot question my citizenship.
my father had a pattern, and I realized birth certificate here. Isn't it?
The first time I don't know how
you know the 7 Kabilos, all are born Gambian, man. So you cannot question that father was.
Lamin Jaw muy suma bay. Ah? Ñani marigola judo. Suma yaay awolo mu nga jógee Piñaay Street. Suma maam Adama Gueye mu nga judo fii naka la tudda
why Nyaseen lañ.
Yaa ngi understand mani?
All these Nyaseen they are from the Senegal. Nyaseen la.
Suma maam ma Demba Kani mu nga judo ngeer angale. Man wata manan challenge yaay jam man soo demee suma kër baajen yi ñu nga Banjul fees fa del man I can take you to suma kër baajen. Wow.
Armos man suma uncle Alkali la de Newtown, de Brikama Newtown de. Attestation so is not a problem.
So Jainar Mune, you better off bringing another topic. Mune Gambian opposition thing before them lose the election.
I see that. I saw that.
This idea, you're losing elections because of foreigners. But I am this look. I do not like foreigners voting in our elections. But you can always take the message to them as well. You think
they think like the other Gambians.
Affordability? They do. You don't think they want a progressive Gambia? They do. You don't think they have a problem with NAWEC? They do. It comes down to messaging and how you target them. If you spend so much time saying that these people are not going to vote in our elections, I'm telling you, all you're doing is arming the government to come after you. That's all you're doing. Especially if you can stop
what? And the Gambian, I saw somebody who went recently, they were doing a tour, or Tombong said it.
Yes.
I was talking about you go to a house, one part of the house is in Senegal.
Yes.
The other part, maybe the living room is in Senegal, cabinet is in Banjul.
Yes.
So we have to, in fact, our border issue problems, we in fact have to solve that. And so it's very difficult, but
there is, if you go to Panchang, that's in Upper Salem.
Yes.
There is Panchang Angale and there is Panchang France. And then you will not believe this. These are people that are related. Then they say, your Panchang Angale, your parents are most likely Gambians, and get them say Panchang France on the other side of the border. Now, is that person a Gambian? Or Domami for Judo, are they Gambians? So it gets a little bit tricky, But again, Pasamba, it comes down to one thing: failure of institutions. You will never be able to enact laws if your institutions are not working. Then our institutions are not working.
No, they are not.
Immigration, they have the powers. So, immigration, ideally, it should be a government institution, very, should I say, independent. And they cannot even get their marching orders from a sitting president, per se, to violate. To follow the law, the letter of the law. So those institutions, if they're not functioning, then definitely, boy, anything else is secondary. This attestation, this, that. I mean, it's neither here nor there. Getting a voter's card in the Gambia is very easy.
It is.
And anyone who's going to spend your time, be like, bro, running against that, you're going to waste of time. Because there's not much you can do about it. It's very easy to get a voter's card. What I will do, or the party that I support, is to go to those people, tell them why they should vote for you. Because you are the agent of change. You're going to make their life better. You're going to make the country better. Because they're human beings. Immigrants here. We come here and we vote. We vote a certain way. what is ultimately in our interest. Come les suma hale, when I was persuading them to vote, I'm gonna ignore this. Oh, Dad, I don't want to go out there and vote. Vote for what? These loans, Biden is going to erase them. You don't have to pay this monthly thing. You have $60,000, $80,000 loan. He's going to wipe it out. You vote for the opposition, you vote for the Republicans, I can guarantee you.
You'll pay them.
You'll pay them. You know, waxi mag dafay guddee naka lañ ko ooyee.
Dafay guddee rek waaye du fanaan àll.
Dafay guddee rek waaye du fanaan àll. Now that we're paying the loans, man leen waxoon naa leen ko. I told you.
But I told you so.
I told you so. I mean, again.
No, but he did though, Musa. He enacted. They just challenged it and went to Supreme Court and Supreme Court.
That's what he is saying.
That's what I'm saying. No, Biden did. So my thing was, if we voted, I mean, Kamala, for instance, she would have still pursued it in one way or another. I mean, during the time of Biden, even though the Supreme Court did not rule, but there was what do they call it? A stoppage. Huh?
It wasn't an injunction. There was an injunction.
There was an injunction. So we were not paying that monthly.
Oh, no, yes.
You know, that was stopped until this guy got when Trump won.
He challenged the constitutionality of it. That's what we went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court strike it down. So.
And now we're back to paying it. I'm like, you know what? Elections do have consequences. Again, the point that I'm trying to make is whether you are an immigrant, non-immigrant, citizen, non-citizen, yes, we should do whatever it takes to make sure that foreigners should not vote in the Gambian elections. And I absolutely do agree. But again, until we get our act together, until we put up institutions that can do that, any politician who spends so much time and resources and political messaging on that, you may end up paying a political price, unfortunately. Really. Because those people in Ghana, if they're going to vote, my brother, trust me, they don't necessarily have to vote for the government. Don't think that for a minute. They will not. They're going to vote their interests. That's the bottom line. Anyway. So where we at? I cannot forget, of course.
I saw this debate though online, and I wanted to kind of get a glimpse of it about regulating people who are on TikTok and Facebook and all that accreditation. What is that all about? I mean,
that's why we want to get Dr. Cisse here next week.
Oh, okay.
To delve into that, and we're also working on getting Mr. Cisse Ablaisi, the chair of the Select Committee, National Assembly Select Committee on the Jame assets, to also come so that we can delve into this issue a lot more, because especially the Jane Commission one is there are some very interesting things. But I'm itching to say what I want to say, but I just want to wait.
I think you need to leave that alone till Doctor comes here next week, and because Musa Gang is gonna rock the boat, and Doctor might change his mind. So
I am not going to rock any boat. Anyway.
No deposit, flexible payment plans, and lots of discounts. Get your legal apartment today.
No, I mean, without a doubt, Sariang, we always want to have people like the doctor, people that represent a government, because we all know what this platform is about. We're about the people. And definitely, we can't be talking to ourselves or talking to just only one side of the political divide. That doesn't help the conversation. So we need the Dr. Cisses, like we have the Honorable Minister, Ibrahim Asila, was here a couple of weeks ago. I mean, and that's what this platform is all about. We've always reached out to Doctor to come, and then just like he goes to coffee time every Tuesday, and then we will ask the questions, and then he will give the answers. I mean, so
I'm just being fair here. I just want to give him the opportunity.
No. Absolutely. I'm with you on that, without a doubt. I'm with you on that. So anyway. Bob Samba, so what's the pulse of the 2026 election? It was just not too long ago. We were in like September, October. Now we're in March, and March is moving. Before you know it, April.
No, elections are coming, and this is what I two things. The first and most important part of it, we have going to have a supplementary registration of voters.
Yes.
And it is absolutely important for the political parties to turn out their base to go and register. There are a lot of young Gambians who did not attain the age of 18 in 2021 who may be of that age now. Normally, these young people are the hardest people to convince to go and register because it's never that important to them. So my expectation, especially from the opposition, is let them try to have whatever it is, public service announcement, PSA, or whatever. Do whatever you need to do to convince these people to understand the importance of registering to vote. Because that's the first important step. And secondly, Musa, I had Swaibu say something, that the registration process, one political party may not have the resources to be able to cover everything. You do not have to form a coalition, and that's the opposition. But you must work together and say, okay, UDP, you may be well equipped, more equipped to cover A, B, C, D, and C. DOI would cover D, E, F, G, and this thing. UMC can do this, so that at least as an opposition bloc, you would have been able to monitor this process, share notes if you want. If you need to go to revising courts, you can go to the revising court speaking one language. Because the revising courts give you the opportunity to change any registration that was done illegally. Once those revising courts closed, that person is on the registration forever because you're going to take him out or her out anymore. So this is where people need to come and work together, but they have to be very strategic, Musa. One thing that happened during the last registration of voters, UDP, that I would also be very mindful of, is having a team going out there and being portrayed as, oh, they are going there anti this thing. Because of it, there is a narrative that is sensed. Your objective is not necessarily anti. Your objective is to protect the registration process. But the way that you do it becomes very critical. And this is where it is important for the parties, opposition parties, to work together, so that it will not be owned by one person. We'll all see that we are working in tandem. Musa, I have had the privilege of working with DOI leading to the 1992 elections, where we used to go to monitor the registration because you are allowed to have monitors. You sit there, Sarian come with his papers, you verify them and make sure they are correct. You note down what your concerns are, go back, you study it, and if you need to challenge, you challenge. That's just what it is. And I hope, because once they do the registration, they would publish it for everybody to see. And then they would open the revising courts. If you don't go to the revising courts, things are gone. But I think that's what they need to do before. And then once you're done with that, go into your campaign proper.
No, Momkan, this tactical alliance, I think, is absolutely very important. That is important because of the resource limitations. None of these parties definitely have the necessary resources, both financial and logistics, to really monitor and participate, and also to sensitize. Because as opposition, you want as many people to register as possible. The idea of you just want a certain segment to register is a mistake, especially the young people. Most of them are basically non-affiliated. They're not really into this party thing like their parents are. So go to the high schools. Asama Yangi smile there. So smile Bobu is very suspicious.
No, boy. Arsenal lost. So the biggest Falanja, we have a group and he was Tim Lakat because he's an Arsenal fan. So he's trying to kill. That's what I'm laughing about. But they lost the finals against your former team, City. But what? Go ahead.
Tamba Sise Bimom. Man namako meresa because Mama own Musa Jeng, Mune Musa Jang in the first place. I know why Musa Jang always talk about this opposition united when he is part of the people who brought all this division. Tamba mere nala de. First of all, man santuma janglen. Secondly, I did not bring about any division. I care about unity. I care about bringing people together. I care about opposition unity. I don't know how much I can say about that. But Pasama, yes, tactical alliance, absolutely very important. For a whole month, there is going to be a registration exercise. Should the opposition be talking to each other? I think they should. Really, especially when they have a commonality of interests. They should do that. Each party should go out there and register as many people as possible. You remember the person that ran for governor here in Atlanta? What's her name again? Oh my God, for 3 years. She ended up losing, but running for statewide in Georgia.
Stacey Adams.
Stacey Adams, my brother. Thank you. See,
you can't even remember your own governor, so
she was never a governor. She ran for the office.
Yeah, but she was
Yes, she was one of the most.
She has a grassroots. She built this movement in grassroots.
Exactly, that was the point that I was making. In other words, she built voters. I mean, that's most of these parties. I think that should be their. Basically, go out there and make sure that your voters are registered more than anything else. If you believe young people in high schools will give you a chance, spend money, millions, to make sure that they register. And I think that's the winning formula, to be very honest with you. Unless and until we register a lot of these young people, and again, the majority of people that are going to line up and vote in 2026, they're all under 40. You don't have a whole lot of people that are going to be voting over 50.
Money. But I think that is very, very important. I think the diaspora organizations of the political parties, believe me, you want to spend money, see election, but this is where it starts. To make sure that at least you have the voter turnout, you have the monitors at all this registration, this thing, because you have this is where you win and lose elections. That's it. You're going to have like the voter roll may increase by close to 50,000. Okay, or more. So you have to get those people to vote, get them to register, go to the universities.
At 950, and people are talking about 1.2.
Yep,
billion folks that are going to line up.
Yep.
So look, out of that, we pull 200,000 voters there.
You never know, and a lot of them you think people register there and too, so they will be replaced.
So
now my question to you guys both, so like for my own awareness, so what role does revising court draws, and also I believe there is a grace period after the supplemental, registration. What are they supposed to look at, and what steps are they supposed to take to ensure that those who are not supposed to register don't register?
So what the revising court does is to revise pretty much the registration of people potentially. If Musajeng comes and is registered, I have evidence that Musajeng is not a Gambian and should not have voters cards. I can go to the court, to the revising court, to challenge his registration. Where not only do I, of course, he who alleges must prove, but he would also be obligated to produce what is documentation. So if you do not have that, then definitely his registration can be struck out. And said, you know what, you're not registered. We did that. I think we are the only party that ever tried that, because 92 we took thousands of people. Because what was happening where there were people who did not reside in Banjul, but registered in Banjul.
Right.
So we challenged that. But what they did when they went to court, they were very clever. They were, okay, this is what we're going to do. Any case that they lose, they'll have to pay us $200. $200 is for wasting our time. So we had over 1,000 people that we were challenging. So potentially that could have been over $200,000. Now I'm talking about 92. You know how much money that was then, So it went to an extent where the case had to be thrown out based on technicalities. But now it's different. A party like the UDP, which is full of lawyers. The UDP came out the last elections, after the last elections, and brought some very interesting evidences. See what? So this where you gather them. You go to the revising courts and say, hey, you've registered Sarian. Yes, his uncle is an alcalo, but believe me,
He's not.
he's from Kungel.
Mm.
His parents are from Kungel. He went to school here, but he had never naturalized. And these are the facts. And then, so just what it is, to just make sure that at least at the end of the day, you have a process that is clean.
Okay.
And Pasama, this is where also the word materiality or significant. You know, if you're like picking 1, 2, 3 voters and going to the revising courts to shame the process, okay, fine. But what would that do in the overall? I mean, I like the idea of 1,000 voters, you know, like especially they're not supposed to vote in, I mean, they don't live in Banjul, but they went ahead and registered there, and then you challenge for 1,000 people, because we know that can impact the voter roll. I mean, the election in Banjul North or Banjul South. Most people are saying that maybe Rohi won because of attestations, people that actually registered in Banjul. I mean, but if you're just going to challenge a handful of voters, maybe it's important just to kind of point out how bad this system or the process is. But what's going to be the impact, the materiality, as far as the election results are concerned?
But Musa, this is where it comes. Let's say if you have, and when we're talking about how densely populated Gambia is,
yes.
but it is the greater Banjul area.
Yes.
Okay. So you have a very good system of monitoring all opposition parties together. They come together and realize, hey, this voter roll, this new one, has so many people whose legality is questionable.
Questionable, yes.
So you come with a list. Yes, it may be 1,000 in Serakunda West, 1,000 in Serakunda East, 1,000 filling in 500. Before you know it, it adds up. But the only way that you can have a very genuine elections is to make sure that only those who are eligible to be registered to vote are registered to vote. But what is going to happen, and I am going to predict this, they will do the registration, there'll be a lot of talk, they will do the revising courts, they'll be open, I think, for at least 2 weeks.
14 days.
Yes, no one is going to go, the revising courts, nobody went. Not one, this thing is going to be challenged. They'll go to elections, Barrow wins, and then we'll hear about how the elections were stolen.
Benedict, I disagree with you. And this is where the pessimism, Barrow wins. Because this election...
If Barrow loses, nobody is going to challenge it. That's where I'm coming from. No, that's where I'm coming from. If Barrow loses, nobody is going to say they stole the elections.
When I listened to the Banjul elders meeting with the president, Sarian, what I saw was a government or a party that is not very confident. Seriously. If you're confident that you have this thing in the bag, I think the messaging should have been totally different. It should have been rapprochement. It should have been talking about the things that you've done. But at every turn, you go back to the elections. They did not sound like a government that has this thing in the bag. What I saw was lack of confidence. What I heard, they understand that 2026 is going to be something totally different. They don't know that. Bull Deglusen open call talking big there. I'm telling you, there is something that they're sensing. And internally, there is a lot of internal factions within the NPP itself. They're having a hard time. Absolutely. Now, it's going to come down to one thing: how the opposition is going to exploit their vulnerability.
And if
we exploit it tactically, if we exploit it strategically, if we exploit it to the fullest, Barrow is going to lose and he's going to head back to Mankamankunda. I can guarantee you that.
No, he's building his house. He's not going to Makuakuda. Mune kere go mobile supare.
Fajar.
I hope that kid will be ready before December. Since that's when he's
Masaka?
ready to go.
Nima gis ni even from Ahmad Ba, suma waji.
Well, how are you gonna sound confident and overzealous about an election whereby the polling data doesn't support polarity of Gambians are on your side? It would be very foolish. You need to be in the game and play serious until election day. I mean, I think that's what it is. I mean, we stood here, we talk about UDP. Don't be overconfident that you got this in the bag. I mean, there is nothing guaranteed. From now on until December, you put your head in the game and you play it like nobody's business. And I think what you see there might be a strategy. I don't know, but I did not sense anything. And it would be very premature at that gathering to so confident that you have this in the bag. How about if voters say, oh, you know what? They think based on their developments and all that, they people are going to vote for them anyways. So if somebody don't care, you just talk about your kids here. If they think their votes are not going to make a difference, I mean, I think that is not a position to be in, to be honest with you. I think you play like how it is, and you saw that, hey, there's a lot of factors in there, and there's obviously, from 2021 to 2026. I mean, can we calculate how many people registered? How many people are eligible to vote? Do you think he has all those people on his side? That is the factor unknown. I mean, if you look at the separate data too, it doesn't support the current standing. So I'm not going to be very confident. I'll be nervous.
Yes, and rightly so. I mean, I like the point that you raised. But this is what I'm saying. If you ask observers, they say, Epa Sambajao, it's basically saying that Barrow has this thing in the bag. You talk to most Gambians, they'll tell you that this thing is over. Barrow is going to win. So there's a general consensus. Consensus, Bobu Nekachibiti, is not from Nyom. From the inside, I was not able to glean that. Most people basically are saying, you know what? It looks like Barrow got this thing in the bag. But when you listen to them very carefully, I did not hear or see that. Now, with respect to what you're saying, maybe that's the smart thing to do, not to be complacent.
No, I like Boy Faditei. Musajek is an emotional strategist. I just love the fact that emotional is part of it. Thank you very much. But you know what? I'm not even liking this because I'm agreeing with Muna, you are an emotional strategist.
Well, so, because he doesn't like what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get it. If you say most people, I mean, we've been there. People have their deep reservations and about the direction of the country. I mean, that is no news. I mean, you talk to 1-2 people, they said, there's challenges, and they will articulate it very well. Everything that was said and all that stuff, that's a fact.
Right.
And the polling data supports that, right? So I would not be super confident that somehow I got this in the bag, because a lot of strategic alignment can happen before December. And I'm hoping, I'm praying that happens, right? I've been praying on it. And I said, what is good for our country and the direction? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala change it. And maybe he's going to answer our call. Who knows? But somehow they need to be super confident about they're going to win. I don't think so, Musa. There's a lot of issues that's happening,
Look.
I mean, they're gathering too, saying that, we've been sponsoring these projects, blah, blah, blah. Even IMF told me that I need to stay. I said, no. You guys need to just sponsor us and stay away from it. I mean, what they are saying is you're going into a hole, right? You got about 67%, foreign, and 33% domestic. I mean, you need to pay down your debt. So, I mean, but it is what it is, and how he interpreted it's none of my business. But what I'm trying to say is, I don't think they can be confident, super confident with all the intricacies of the political dynamism and what is at play right now. I don't think he has the upper hand. If you got 38% or 30, what did he get? 38% or 39%?
You may not
So
have
I would,
polling.
huh? Yes.
Yeah, maybe Musa, maybe he is just cautiously optimistic. Now, of course, it
Yes.
will be foolish
No,
of them.
let me rephrase it.
Here is their problem. Let me tell you what their problem is most.
What I glean from it is vulnerability.
Let me tell you what their concern.
That's fair.
Let me tell you what NPP's concern is. NPP has one concern: the possibility of a coalition. That is their biggest fear.
Yes.
Because you talk to them. I've spoken to people very close to the corridors of power, Kisi Mansa. And their thing was, as long as these people don't come together, we are fine. Because they know that if they're able to, there is a reason why they're taking this attitude towards the Ejao.
Yes.
Because the fact that he's with Apex,
he's cooking this
like, oh, he is plotting our downfall.
Yes.
That's it. So their fear is a coalition. Because they know if there is a coalition, they have a big fight in their hands. But they're also not very stupid. Well, to know a coalition with this political landscape is a lot harder than even it was in 2016. So that's their fear. As long as the opposition kuneka chicken and missiles flying all over the place, they don't even like the idea that they signed that what do they call that agreement where let's among ourselves, let's focus on the NPP, because it was working very well for the NPP, where the focus was what UMC was saying against Nakalatura, UDP, or what UDP is saying, but it's going to be very interesting.
Now I truly believe my uncle is a very low-hanging fruit. Sorry, I'm wrong. Where the masses are confused. They carry on. You're a low-hanging fruit for the.
It's not a low-hanging fruit. They wish he was.
NPP. He said you're a low-hanging fruit. Pasava, did you see our brother, Dr. Scattret? Did you hear what he said? His thought? Scattret Janet?
No, if you had paid attention, when I try to pay attention a lot, Catherine has been very close to the State House for a very long time.
I do.
Low key. When Amadou made the decision that he was stepping down from the UDP because of, from Neka Amadou time, of course, he cannot come all out on this thing. So, Scattret is very strategic. If I come out, they will be like, but wait a minute. You just said you were stepping down. So now this is the perfect time now for him to say, you know what? Here I am. Him and CD, they are very, very, very close.
CD guy.
CD Cisse.
Oh, CD.
Yeah, they are very, very, very close. And CD is always trying to convince somebody to join him.
Yes.
So he's a very smooth operator. So he would go behind the scenes and then try to. So no, that did not surprise me at all. To me, it was a confirmation of everything that I knew was going to end up happening. But you know what? Hey, in the political season, you'll be seeing a lot of people coming out.
And you see, and that's the other point that I'm going to make. I really want to talk about. You're going to have a lot of the Dr. Scattrets. They were they didn't want to come out. The closer we get to the elections, he's talking about NPP is the only one with a vision that exactly what
5 years, 10 years,
and exactly what they intend to do in 5 years. And then you see on the other side of the opposition, a lot of people that are out there, they're all playing it safe. They don't want Barrow to be re-elected. They have a serious problem with Barrow getting re-elected, but they are not going to lift a finger. They are not going to lift a finger to come out there. And it makes it really difficult for the opposition. Like you said, today is Dr. Scattret. You're going to see the drip, drip, drip up to 2026. Everybody else, like in our, this advertisement be every day. I mean, for the people, by the people. You said something. Unless and until people are ready to get their hands dirty. You are out there, call yourself an intellectual, call yourself an activist, call yourself a businessman, but you are unwilling to say that the only way this country can be rescued if we vote in a certain way. Duñ ko def. Nobody wants to do that. And everybody wants the status quo to be defeated. It ain't gonna happen. It's gonna happen if everybody wants to come out and say this. Why nigga fi di ko def like we used to say James Senegal?
Ngarale.
Han affaire. Di ngarale. That's not gonna bring about change. Change happens. Nyanja is always preaching one thing. You make a Gambian first before you can bring about change. Well, making a Gambian, maybe each and every one of us needs to take that responsibility. You think the future is not Barrow? You think to make Gambia a middle income country, we have to have change? Bro, you get a megaphone and you put it out there and you say it loud. Like James Brown used to say.
And say it loudly and proud.
Yes. But
Yeah.
doing it behind the scenes.
The opposition is not attractive.
Yes. And then you expect them to win.
2021, the
Huh?
2021, the 2021, the opposition was very attractive
Extremely attractive.
because a lot of people felt the UDP had this, they were going to win it. As soon as those results were called, in fact, in the middle of it, that was when Usainu started receiving calls from people. They were like, Minister, we do and look at what you got to do. Just look at the UDP. I'm not talking about New Guinea and them UMC. That's a different thing because they state. Just look at the UDP going into the elections the morning of 2021 and the UDP that surfaced the following day after the elections.
Totally different.
Because we have a very transactional nature. They look at things from the lens of what is in it for me. And this is why a lot of people were playing, there was in fact some people, they were playing both sides, because of they didn't know who was going to win. If I want to go here too deep, UDP win, I'm in problem. So I want to go, so let me just play it, cool. This time it's not going to be the case, Musa. I can tell you, now against July, you will hear names, every one of them will be running towards Barrow because in their belief, Barrow is going to win this. Unless there is a coalition, they'll be running. Barrow is so attractive now, you'll be having a lot more people going there. No more is without a doubt.
And that's what that's the point that I'm trying to make. And so Bunyufi Tanghal, nigga behind the scenes, you want this guy to be defeated. You want him to be defeated? Come out, man. Because you do make a difference, especially if you are an influential person or respected in the community. Show your hand, my friend.
People show their hands though, Faramos.
Hey, my brother.
No, it's just that if they don't show their hands, that is aligned with what party or not, then they are not in the game,
No, I'm not saying it for them to support the UMC.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying,
I'm just saying that. Scattered Janet coming up, and then you're going to see a whole lot of scattereds positioning themselves. And what you're going to have on the other side, because you know of a lot of people that seriously are sympathetic with the opposition, and they want
as I said, this thing was the writing was on the wall. If you work with someone hand in hand, right, and right after election, and you said that individual is lazy, blah 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 blah, going personal, I was not surprised at all, and I have no comments for Dr. Jan at all.
Doctor is a comrade. We did a lot of stuff. While listening to his speech, it reminded me of something. 2001, when Jammeh won the elections,
he flipped in 2003,
and then gave a speech that they say was reconciliatory. and doctor who used to call APRC aimless people running the country decided he was so convinced by that speech by Jammeh that he was going to join him. But again, his friend Murphy was able to convince him, and he joined. Of course, it didn't take long for him to have a fallout, and then came. He did a great job in fighting Jammeh, went through hell and back to fight him, and all that stuff. So when he gave the speech, my mind went straight back to, this sounded very familiar.
He was on Gambia L.
Yes, Gambia. Yes. And I remember, because when I saw him at the mid the Diaspora Summit,
that
was the first time I saw him live. He came, and then later the statement came, and how convinced he was by Jammeh's speech of reconciliation and all that stuff. So it is what it is. But he is not going to be the first. No, will he? A lot of people will come.
And that's the point that I'm trying to make. Unfortunately for the opposition, they don't have a whole lot of people that are willing to bet on them.
Yep.
And so definitely that makes it very difficult to be an opposition in the Gambia. Yep. When you have a whole lot of people that are not willing to put a bet on you. And
why that though, Musa? Why?
Because I think we are all very opportunistic. Our politics has come down to zero-sum game. If I bet on the opposition and if they don't win, then I'm done. If I'm a businessman, I'll be marginalized. If I'm out there looking for a job, most likely I'm not going to get it. I will not be in bed with the people that are well connected. Unfortunately, that's the name of the game in the Gambia. That's the political process. Who win? We are mom. Yep. Mm-hmm. So people are saying that, you know what? Gambia, bro. I'm a small businessman. I want to make sure I stay in the game. And the way to stay in the game, then you talk to them. You too. All these small business people these young people that are coming up, they're out there. Some of them are my relatives. Some of them are Pasama's relatives, your relatives. These are young people that are trying to make it happen. But you're not going to see them. They're going to play it very carefully. Especially when they make the calculation, bro, Barofi can do komuna win man, that makes it very difficult for the opposition. Extremely difficult. Because they have people that listen to them too as well. When you're a small businessman, you're a person of influence. Let's see, and one has to congratulate Turo Dabo. 32 bulls la rendi, bro.
But he's done that every year.
That's what I'm saying. Selling it at a
at a discounted price, very, very discounted price. So
during
Musa, what you're saying though is universal though. Everywhere. The people were criticizing Washington Post. All the other medias, the moguls, the millionaires were very quiet when the man was running. It's true. It is. It's very universal, though. This is something that happens worldwide. People tend to align themselves, especially, if they see some type of disagreement, people getting at each other, being personal instead of talking about the issues on daily basis. And I think that is fundamental too. Then people start gauging, are we in for, a long haul, or we're trying to gain something on collectively, and that is a problem, and some people are definitely timid because especially these business folks, man, they just, people think that they have millions in government contracts. If they start speaking up, they might lose those contracts and all that stuff. So how do we navigate through that complexities? It's very universal. So I'm not sure what's the best way to navigate through those.
We all know businessmen, influential people, celebrities. Most of them are ideologically driven. I don't think they sit there and try to say who's going to win the elections. They associate themselves based on the ideology. They're very progressive. Businessmen or celebrities, they're progressive, really. And the ones that are basically very conservative, they tend to be very conservative. I'm not saying that in other countries they don't follow their interests. They do. But in the Gambia and most of these developing countries, fofula affair bi gëna feeñee because really,
Even here,
I describe Elon Musk freaking pumping millions and millions because he thinks something is in for him. So
politically driven, Elon Musk, definitely. You know that he has these conservative things with him. I mean, I don't think
what's up, man? Come on.
I'm not saying the Americans don't follow their interests there. Don't get me wrong. Well, I'm not Fini. I mean, the economy is not designed in a way where Hamne. It's a zero-sum game. The fact that, I mean, you know, you happen to be a businessman who has a liberal leaning, somehow your business is really going to be impacted. I don't think that that's how the economy works here in this country.
Yeah, no, America's things here because Trump has become this vindictive, crazy man.
Yeah.
Who has now forced people to take sides because of, you know, they're going after people and all that. So, because you know, the America that we knew before Trump never knew and flipped the whole country on its head.
Right.
Was you had like the you had some millionaires or billionaires. You got how many were Bezos? Oh no, there's this guy who was always a very liberal guy.
Warren Buffett.
You had that in the Gambia though. The difference, boy. Fee, sometimes you can be a business and do not even care about the federal government, and you can go about your business, make your money. In the Gambia, most of these people, your biggest client
is the government.
Is the government. Even when you organize a show, your tables you sell it to the government. You know. So that makes it a problem. But on top of it, psychophancy, of course, is not only a Gambia thing. It is very much here. In fact, Trump has really shown us what psychophancy is. If you want to see one, just follow Lindsey Graham.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
He's a person who has flipped. He used to be this guy with McCain, the Maverick, and all of a sudden now he's become a CDI on us. But the issue in the Gambia, though, my last election was a challenge for them because they did not know where they stood. Now, if you talk to them individually, they have their issues.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to where they stand, that's what they will tell you. They are looking for their interest. And that's just what it is. So they would align with them. And all we saw what used to happen during Jammeh time. Do you remember when, what's his name? Mohamed Jah gave those bands
to Jammeh.
Because you have to do that. You go to an extent where you feel that that's your only way of surviving. And they invite you to programs, and other stuff. And you know what's going to happen?
That hasn't changed, though. I mean, from Jammeh's time up to today, the same guy that you mentioned right now, it's very ingrained into the system. And he's doing exactly the same.
Let me tell you something. If tomorrow comes and UDP wins, he'll be taking center stage.
Zainab, Eid Mubarak.
He said, at least you've been consistent.
He said, I've been consistent.
I love my sister, man. I'm telling you.
No, sister, come Zainab. I just want to Zainab's brother.
Zainab.
I know your brother.
How is my sister doing, man?
Yeah. Who used to be on Gambia Post?
Huh?
Zainab's brother, Habib, who used to be in Gambia, Habib Ghanim. He is one of the most resourceful people in our community here. When somebody dies, the first person that they talk as who will spring into action is Habib. To make sure you're taken care of the mortuaries, has his connection with the cemeteries and all. He's a wonderful, wonderful human being, down to earth and very, very, very resourceful to our community. I just had to say that.
So the point that I'm making is we like to question some of our voters are low-informed voters in the provinces. They are not smart. I mean, that's our problem. That's why, government would win, patronate, and then General Sako Malo. I'm like, nigga, please. We all do that. The ones that are supposedly, what's the capital of low-informed voter? High-informed voter. You know all the issues. You know what's wrong in this country. But you don't have the spine to stand the things that you believe in. When they call you for an interview, they ask you a question, you vacillate all over the place because you don't want to step on the wrong toes.
Money, who are you talking about? Why don't mention names?
Out there.
Money, say mention names.
Look, I'm just saying, I'm not targeting really one individual because this is the thing. People are quiet. It's not only one person or two. I'm telling you, the entire country. 2026 is 6-7 months from now. There are a lot of people that believe that voting for the incumbent is bad for the country. Shouldn't they come out and say it? I'm not saying they come out and farlel party B or party Billy. Work on bringing, that's why you mean Nyom Dr. J, Nyom D.A. Jaos. These are people that are saying, look, I'm going to get my hands dirty by doing whatever little I can to bring the opposition together, because that's how you can get the incumbent defeated. They are doing something about it. The question to each and every one of us, what in the hell are you going to do about it?
Yeah, people, that's what I'm saying. Each individual is doing what they're supposed to do. Maybe in Musa Jeng's world, that might not align, or his own way of getting your hands dirty might not align with your beliefs. And it's true. I mean, people are doing what they're supposed to do every single day. Right?
You and I know that what you hear behind the scenes, how bad this government is from individuals, and it's not in line with whatever you think they're doing.
And I think that's where work needs to be done. Sensitize them, knock on doors, right? We do big rallies, right? But how do we message door to door, right? And I was just telling Jennifer, the guy who just resigned, Joe Kemp. He's my congressman here. Third district, Washington 3rd district. He comes here, he knocked on my door one time. He came in and now bring flyers, and we engage a little bit, about his service and all that. But we're not doing that. If you sit down and talk to people and ask people whether they think the country, everything is hard, everything is expensive, they said yes. They will acknowledge that. They will acknowledge. But now, if you talk about, I'm going to build a train station, a train rail from Brikama all the way to Faraba Bantang. Oh, Saiben na Banko Yela Mandela.
No,
though you and I and everybody else, majority of us who are watching this program today, knows that that's not feasible from now on until December.
Well, it's
but
just
who
like
is
the free Wi-Fi? The free
yes.
Wi-Fi.
So, but who is checking that on real time though, saying this is not even practically possible? And where is the funds coming out of? What does that entail? How are they going to put that? I mean, the roads are not there, the infrastructure is not there, and it's not possible. But how do you communicate that to the voters? Oh, Barka, Minister Kwebina. Train or sambalan na blato. Obe mol makwela ba karam to dindingol. Even though it's just not practical.
But you know what? But I mean, saying something. Because it's not selfish, rather self-preservation. What we see is system based on patronage. In such a system, independent-minded individuals rarely thrive, and that can be true too. Because it's
what. You know what?
Wow.
Then we will never be able to fight it. So it all comes down to what Ami is saying is self-preservation. Yes, I get that. Self-preservation is also very selfish. Really. I mean, self-preservation, look.
But that's why it's called self-preservation. Because you're thinking about yourself. You're not thinking about the bigger thing.
That's what makes it selfish.
That's why I'm saying. That's why I said when it is self, it's selfish.
Yes, when it's self, it's selfish, because that's the motivation. And then she said, it's because of the system as it is. Like I did say that. Now, everything has come down to zero-sum game. The people that are in power.
Let me ask you a question, Musa. Pulling a change, the governance system also must change it, because you've seen what happened here in the United States. We've seen media houses from Nekani.
Yes.
They acquiesced to what Trump wants. Something that we never thought would happen.
Yeah, but there are people that are fighting back. It's not
there are people that are fighting. Of course, you always have that. But when, let's say, we vote for President Swaibu Toure tomorrow,
Mhm.
and Swaibu comes and does not care about your patronage or your
Yeah.
business, it's not asking you to, to be loyal to him, do your business, and that's it. So look, when the system too at least gives you that independence, like, you know what, I can
I
do
can
my
do
business
things
here
without
without
relying on
having
the
to
Yes.
worry about what a minister is going to, because they're not having a minister trying, like Amaba was telling those people, in the most subtle way, the Banjul elders. Wow. When is that again? And all that stuff. Because that's what they tell you. And we have a system where the ngur ken du ko nganya. Manduma kontar gur. That's what they tell you. Yalla moy fal gur. That's what they tell you. So we have a culture that makes it ingrained in our heads that even sa vote bi nga vote yalla moy jël sa loxo bi dugal ko ci box bi ko wara votal, so ñeneen ñi mo xina mun tona lifin seen loxo yi mom. So you have all this nonsense that we tell people and then believe in ourselves. We've come to believe na yalla mo lay fal bour. That's what they tell you. Ki kay bam judo la ko bi, look at what Barrow was telling people. Jawara yalla ko def 30 years. Bu ñëwee naka la ko ko tudd Jammeh ñëwee
20 years.
dañ ñëwoon 2 years waaye ndeke yàlla moom bëgg a binda naka 22 years man bu ma ñëwee su ma ne 3 years aman ne ma bàyyil waxi 3 years yi nit ñi 3 years ay fogoon waaye fu mu nekk ni ñu ngi si 10. So we have anyway lu ma pare sax su ma ko wéra ñoo nit ñi mer. We've been trained into this nonsense of, what yalla fi technique and all that stuff. And my question always to people, and they cannot answer. You tell me na yalla and everything that is attributed to Yalla would look at a person like Hitler and say that I'm going to make you a leader of a country to go and just gas them and kill them. Or Yaya Jammeh, I'm going to make you a leader of a country. For 22 years, all you do is just kill people. Do they even add up? But it is something that is believed. Musa.
Samba, in our system, every individual has one vote. But we also do know that there are people that any community would listen to. Either they are respected. In the US, there's a reason why sometimes when a newspaper endorses a candidate, they do that. There's a reason why, when certain celebrities or individuals endorse a candidate, in our community, there are people because of their influence. Turo Dabo, for instance, obviously he's a well-known philanthropist. People would listen to him. And there are a lot of other people out there, businessmen that are well-known, that people would listen to them. Now, if you're a businessman and you believe in whatever policies that this government is pursuing is good for the country, okay, that's fine. Then endorse the government. But what I think is not only selfish, but undermine is like behind the scenes, you are wishing, you're praying that you want this government to lose because it's bad for your business, it's bad for the country. But you're not willing to lift a finger to take the necessary risk and say, you know what? I think this is bad for this country. You're not going to do it. And then you expect an ordinary person who lives in the rural area, you call him a low-informed voter because when he lives there within Alcalo and a system structured, Sula Alcali if you're marginalized by the Alcali, if you're marginalized by the commissioner, if you're marginalized by by the governor, it's difficult for these people as well. So the same self-preservation that you're saying, they're preserving themselves. And if that is the system, if the person gets re-elected, because you did not do what you were supposed to do. For the system to change, we all have to speak out. We all have to get our hands dirty. And with that, change is possible. We did it. Like, I think he's saying, my man is saying this because of this.
Who?
Not necessarily.
Who, me?
Yes.
So now you're getting you get into my head what I'm you prophesize, huh? No, because
But anyway.
No. Because if you are trying to convince people,
yes,
and saying, "Come and get your hands dirty,"
yes,
right?
That's the
I
only,
think those
that's the only way change can happen, though.
Yeah, but some people got their hands dirty. My thing is, if it doesn't align with what you're thinking, is that bad? Is that not the individual not getting his hands dirty or her hands dirty? That is subjective. That's what I'm trying to. You can be, and by the way, I think we need to get off this track and rural folks are, they are not informed and all that. They are informed.
That's what they say, bro.
We need to get out there and knock on doors and inform them and talk to them directly. Yeah, I think that is key here. But taking people.
Real folks are very sophisticated. I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
They don't know what they're doing. They're making the same calculation that people in the West Coast, in the Greater Banjul area, the same calculations that they're making. They're making that calculation.
Yeah.
I mean, they know exactly what they are doing. Really. I mean, you guys are playing the game. They're playing the game as well. Really. I mean, but anyway. Moy lulu, mom. Moy lulu. Pop Samba. So what's out there?
And I play, guys. Did you play the art? You did.
Yeah, Pasamba. Sani, you getting older.
No, I'm coming to your coming to your level. So
maybe did you see Donald Trump, what he said about this Bob Mueller? Can you imagine?
No, Donald Trump is the
how a decent person, maybe even if Kisa Soko Banye.
Oh my God!
How can anyone? No, baby, this guy is so evil. It's not even funny.
No, but the thing is, though, you know what it speaks to, Musa? You lived in this country for almost 50-something years now. This is something that you would have never thought of a president ever uttering, irrespective of how mad they are about a person. It was not even in the cards. You will not even hear it.
No.
But this guy, he's uncouth. He doesn't care. He says what comes to his mind. And then he has people like Lindsey Graham who would just make SC clap for him and that's it. I think he's senile. I don't think he, in fact, understands what is going on around him.
Evil. How can anybody say that? The guy is vindictive.
I am happy that he is dead. What kind of nonsense is that?
Dead. I don't see, like you said, believe me, bro, I've seen a lot of American presidents, both Republicans and Democrats. I cannot see, Ronald Reagan wouldn't even say that.
Mm-mm.
George W. Bush would never say that. Bill Clinton, Haniko.
No, Bill Clinton would even cry with the family.
W. Bush would never say that. The other Bush. Talk about Obama saying that? Come on. But him, what he would say, bro? He says just like that. Can you imagine how the family of that guy, and this is a guy, people are saying a veteran who was in the Navy. He's done a lot for this country. For you to just come out and say something like that, and I'm glad he's dead. Who does that? It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's really, really, really something wrong in this country nowadays. And like Pasamba said, you see, even the ones that are supporting him, when he says statements like this, they're disgusted. But they don't have the balls to come out and speak out against it and said, no, they don't. Really. It's just unbelievable, man. It's just, I saw that all I could do is just shake my head and say, unbelievable. And he doesn't even care. He's not gonna run for president anymore. He absolutely doesn't. It's all about him. But I'm just hoping upon hope that the Democrats will take over the Congress, they'll take over the House and the Senate, then they'll go after him. Seriously. That's the only way this guy can be stopped. Or at least
you asked Coach about the polls of 2026, and Well, what's your take? I mean, we got to take you on this. What's your... No. I'm just wondering. You did not. You know, you glean on it, but what's your take on the 2026?
Yes, Musa, what's your take?
What's your take?
No. You are the strategist. So you are the partisan. So just tell us, what do you see happening, Mr. Strategist, the emotional strategist?
Let me say this.
Let me say it this way. So go ahead, I'm here doesn't have an answer. Go ahead.
Let me say this. No, because I mean, it's not a black and white kind of a response. And you know, I'm a very responsible strategist. I don't say the things that I want to see happen. I say the things that are out there. One thing I do believe, that this government is very vulnerable. I also do believe that this government can be defeated. Yoyunyom gomnako. Gambians are well aware of what Barrow has done. They're well aware of that. They also are well aware that he's a peaceful guy. You can talk to any Gambian, they'll tell you that. They'll tell you that he's a good man. They'll tell you that. But one thing that I know, they want to vote for change. That I do know. The majority of Gambians, and this is not me just saying, it's not just an anecdotal evidence, even the polling data reaffirm that. The question now is, change happens based on decisions that we make as an opposition. If they make the right decision, I think Barrow will be defeated. Do I believe if they make the right decision?
What's the right decision?
Making the strategic, what everybody is saying, finding common ground that they can take to the Gambian people. We are brought together because of these core beliefs, and this is the change that we want to bring to this country. If they do that and they take that message to the Gambian people, I think Barrow will be defeated. Okay. If they splintered into different groups, or everybody for himself and God for us all, I think it would be a very difficult terrain for the opposition to win.
I thought that was what you are advocating for, third force.
Listen very carefully. I still do believe that a third force, in a certain way, can make the difference in exploiting the vulnerability of Barrow. I do believe that. You remember we talked about the different options. I mean, you always want to drag me into this.
No, I'm not trying to drag you into nothing. All I'm not right, because we ask you, what does that mean? You get into the semantics. I just want you to come.
You all have your own way of you all, and I'm hoping that you all are going to come out and tell me your pulse in regards to the 2026 elections.
I told you mine. You dismiss it.
No, you take the easy way out. The Barrow is going to win. That's just what you said, right?
Yes.
Right?
In the absence of a coalition, Barrow is going to win.
Right.
It's not even going to be close.
And what is my position?
Your position can't come.
No. Yo, you will say that because it's not in line with what we had this debate, and I think the viewers watch. I said the exhaustive, comprehensive coalition. That's what I said.
Look, for me, I said it here last week or 2 weeks ago. I said the options are on the table. A comprehensive is the sorest way. Why you were not born yesterday? I wasn't born yesterday, and we understand the complexity and the difficulty of that. So I am not going to take all my eggs and bury it into that and saying that unless and until that happens, we will lose. I'm not going to go there. Pasamba would go there, but I'm not going to go there because I think that there is another alternative that if it were to happen, Barrow can be in trouble. A third force with the right candidate, with the right messaging, with the right resources, Barrow will be defeated. I believe that.
Okay.
I really do.
It's very, very interesting with the right candidate, with the right messaging. I mean, that might be Musa Yeng's own way of seeing things. Someone else might see something different.
It's a democracy.
No, yeah, and that's what I want. I want us to understand here. I said comprehensive. I mean, you said a third force. I'm gonna put, but what I'm trying to say. Okay, I'm listening.
Money. The sorest way is the comprehensive. Beginner or more if they all come together, supporting one candidate, take their message to the Gambian people. Pasamba did even kind of say that. Yes, they're very scared of that.
Yeah, Pasamba said that one day you're wahululu. So
how many times do you want me to say that? Bring all the parties together, Bilai Barrow will be history. You bring all the candidates together, Barrow will be defeated. But I also do know they're bringing all the parties together. It ain't gonna be easy. In the absence of that, I'm not going to throw my hands up and say, okay, we're defeated like Pasamba would do. No. Or yourself. Basically, you guys are thinking, in the absence of a comprehensive, Barrow cannot be defeated. I beg to differ. Or is that your position? I mean, I don't want
to... Okay? I ask you a question, just speak, and you will have an opportunity to speak. Don't speak for me. I can speak for myself.
No, I just want to be clear.
No, I don't need to affirm anything to you. Just speak what you gotta say, and we'll speak.
Money, in the absence of the comprehensive, does that mean then the opposition is game over? There are people who even believe parties going it alone Barrow can be defeated. The parties don't believe that. Really, some people do believe that because at the end of the day, everyone has a one vote. But that's not my position. Beginner ora man moi. In the absence of a comprehensive, we have a third force. Again, with the right candidate, with the right messaging, Barrow will be history. That's what I believe. On a third force, three-way race, not a 5-way race, not a 6-way race, a 3-way race. When I said a third force, when there is one force, there is second force, there is a third force.
I think maybe the third force is in an event where a scenario. I mean, we can all speak in different languages, but what I'm saying is the third force is a preemption that maybe UMC is not going to accept a UDP led, and UDP is not going to accept a UMC led coalition. No, let
me make it clear. A third force would be running against the UDP and the NPP. That would be the third force. Running against the UDP and the NPP. That would be the third force.
No. But what I'm saying, Faramos, we are on the same. What I'm trying to say is, why couldn't we devote our energy and resources to work a formula whereby we'll have a coalition? So obviously, the third force, the third force will come into play when UMC doesn't think that a UDP-led coalition, they're going to follow it. And UDP think seriously that a UMC, they are fractions and are going to lead them as a coalition.
Those are not the only parties out there within the opposition.
No. I'm just saying. I'm do you want to know my position?
Let me tell you this. If all the parties come together, because Hamnane, and there's a process, Manlala Wade, and like you said, the UDP candidate happens to be the leader of the coalition, fair and square. If UMC decides to say Nyom Dingo support, Musa Jang to support UMC. I can tell you that 110%. If there is a process that they subscribe to, we all come together. We went through the process, and then you don't like the outcome. I don't support any candidate, party, or anybody for that matter. In there, I'm not important there, but at least my mom's my baba. But that's so. I'm not talking about UMC not liking this or not liking that. That's not my position at all. All I'm saying is, following Gambian politics and the way things are structured, it looks like in the absence of a, even the third force forming a coalition, it's not going to be a cakewalk. It's going to be difficult too. So Ami Sisa said a coalition does not need to be comprehensive, but they need to be strong, focused on the largest voting bloc, the youth. I agree, Ami.
And you know what's going to happen? If you don't have a comprehensive coalition, you can have any strong one, you're going to lose. Because here is the issue. Even Musa, the argument that we've had this argument before. If they go through a process, people can argue that there was a process in place, the UDP selection process. And then people withdrew from it and decided to walk away. No, hold on. No, hold on. Okay? The UDP had a process, didn't they? So let's say if they were to go to now a process again, I'm just playing. I'm going to be Musajak today, plays the devil's advocate.
The devil's advocate. And
then they go to the process. UDP was able to do like what they did 2016, lobby the other parties to get the 70 to vote for them. Will there not also be another process that UDP is going to win? So to me, this is the thing. If people are interested in change, if they are interested in change, they will be more worried about what is in it for me than what is in it for the country. Simopa. And what I believe, the challenge that I believe we have this time around, change is not as, we are not in, how would I call it?
It's not existential threat.
It's not. So people can just like, that's what they tell you. 2016, it was a challenge, and 2016 what made it a lot more serious. There were a lot of things, Musa, you have anywhere on the line. We were through this like a process before, Musa, when it was most difficult. But 2016, the constitution had banned Usenu from running. Okay? Solo was killed. Everybody was jailed. The opposition had boycotted the 2022 National Assembly elections. They now had a convergence. They came and formed a group. They had, you know what, we are fighting for these reforms. That was the issue. So they at least there was a consensus even leading to that. And then everything came to head when Solo was killed, Usenu and others were jailed, and people saw, you know what, this cannot continue. And what happened, Musa, you were in the diaspora. The urgency of change became so apparent. The protest that we used to organize with 10 people coming, now we were seeing hundreds of people coming out. You remember this? You go to Atlanta, Amna Mary or Hamne, they had no interest in what was going on. Like here in DC, when we organize our protest, and I see Nyom Hadimundao, and see all these ladies coming out,
right?
Because to them, Fanta Dabo and Fanta's role in the community. So I'm like, okay, now this is now taking a different dimension from Nekani. We saw what was happening with the Kalama Revolution and all that. So people decided, you know what, we are now definitely, this needs to end. This guy has started now jailing imams and all these things. So there was a threat that people saw and felt that everything must be done to put it to an end. The urgency is not there this time around. We have a lot of people who want to be president of the Gambia, but very few people who are doing it because of they believe that they have what it takes to change the country. And this is where the challenge is. And I hope the opposition can come together, but I don't see the urgency of it. loolu daal mooy Coach Kanja Samba Bisap loolu mooy kàddu
Nah,
xam nga
if there is one thing that we all recognize, more the anytime, anywhere, in any country, bringing opposition parties together in a coalition, it's difficult. It's a very difficult thing. It's very complex, and people are ambitious, which is to be expected. People are ego-driven, which is to be expected. People have a reason why they form their political parties. So it makes it extremely difficult. So, being that, at least some people are not just throwing their hands and giving up. The DHRs of this world, they're trying to do something about it. They're saying, at least let's talk. Let's have a dialogue. The first thing is for every party to be open to it. Again, but it also has to be timely. If it looks like it's not going to work, and I'm not saying just to give up, but you can't be just calling and sitting and every Sunday you have a meeting and you don't really have a whole lot to show for it, then terminate it. Let's explore other options that can be on the table. If it means that when everything is said and done, coalition of any sort is impossible, then maybe let's do some of the things that we've been saying here earlier. We can have alliances to make sure that the elections are free and fair. They're transparent. That at the end of the day, the Gambians will line up and they will determine who's going to be elected. Because look, dem nang ñëw na yeb lila. We want free and fair elections. That the incumbent, there are advantages that the incumbent is going to have. There's not a whole lot we can do about it. He's the president. He has the bully pulpit, But then opposition parties, each party would have to make your own strategic decision. How do you want to pursue this? Do I believe that UDP cannot win? No. Do I believe UMC cannot win? No. I'm not gonna just rubbish it and say it's impossible, totally impossible. No. Is it very challenging and difficult? Absolutely. Will I be totally surprised if they go it alone and Barrow getting elected? I will not be surprised. I will not. Will I be surprised if UDP wins? Yes. Will I be surprised if UMC wins? Yes, I will be surprised. And that is why I am looking at two options, comprehensive or a third force, because those are better, forces that I believe can make it difficult for the incumbent to win. So, fala affaire bi neka. But Wally, personally, I strongly believe that we lose. I'm with you on that. Then you go with or without a coalition. I think Ibuwali, you're wrong on that. You said, I say this simply because the opposition hasn't been more divided than any time before. Even if they form some sort of a alliance coalition, they would struggle to agree.
I think that some sort of offer. Because if they have, I understand where Wali is coming from.
Right.
Because if you have a comprehensive coalition, that's not some sort of a coalition. That's a comprehensive coalition. But if you have all this connect harama, I'm not two people you back rek si bopam. Xam nga lan mo happen? Musa gis nga quality. The quality of parties more for nekut. That doesn't mean that you don't have people who are educated. That's not what I'm talking about.
Yes.
2016, pre-2016, pre-2017 opposition. These were people, for the most part, the overwhelming majority, were in it for a very good reason. They were fighting a fight. They were being jailed. In fact, it was a matter of survival for them to that period. Now is Anybody can form a political party and be called His Excellency or Honorable. Sibopa. So you see the urgency, that's what I was talking about most. The urgency is not there anymore. It's not completely out of it. There are some people, yes, they're still fighting for something. But if you pin most political parties and we bring them here, you ask them even the reason for forming a political party. You'll sit there and be shaking your head and say, you know what, it's the same old thing. People just come in to tell you the same thing why DOI was formed, or the same thing why UDP was formed, and tell you, well, we are the young ones now. These people have been doing it for this thing, so we need new young ones. So it's not the same. It's not like a struggle for the life or values of a country to say, you know what, we are strong because we need to do this. No, it's like it's an opportunity for me to become a minister. It's an opportunity for me to become a president. It's an opportunity for me to be a presidential advisor. And this is why, leading to the elections, a whole bunch of these 22 parties will go and align themselves with Barrow, expecting that maybe he would make the leader a minister or something. I
have a question for Sariang Marong. I do. Brother Marong, you've been asking me questions, putting my feet on the fire, asking for specifics. You're advocating that the shortest way is for a comprehensive coalition of all the parties coming together. I want you to walk me through it according to what you would call the Marong formula. Put meat on the bone and say that this is how this process should work, really. Because it's easy to say, let them all
you see, I have a difference with you. I don't insert myself into a process. And hold on. You asked me a question and I'm going to answer it. I don't tell people what to do. If I say comprehensive, meaning that they need to come out, them themselves, stakeholders need to map out a process. No. You know, you have to respect people. If you ask people questions, it's not about a got you question, right? I have to answer. And that's what I'm giving. And my position hasn't changed. I don't insert myself into and dictate and say, this is what you're supposed to do. No, we've done it in 2016. And I think the process needs to go. They need to sit down and table out and iron out their differences. And I don't have a solution to that.
Bro, I don't. I think that's a cop-out.
No, it's not a cop-out. It's not a cop-out. You always want to insert your thinking into people's and you don't have to get frustrated about this. I have my position, and you have your position, and you have to respect my position. Well, you can call it anyhow you want. That is my position, and you have to respect that.
You should have an opinion in regards to...
I don't need to, because you know why? Being loud and telling people and forcing people to do stop position is not the way to do it.
What does that mean? Comprehensive, what does that mean?
I just told you. You know, Musa, I am not playing to the gallery. I'm talking about... Hold on. You gotta give me a chance, okay? You gotta give me a chance. Not that what Musa again wants. That's always the way to go. No, hold on. But give me opportunity. You cannot be talking over me. You have to give me opportunity. That way we have a two-way dialogue. It's not your way or the highway. It doesn't build like that, right? You ask me a question. And I'm telling you, opposition parties, without taking sides, this whole thing, a winning candidate, a strategic candidate, about messaging, all that stuff, a divisive messaging. They need to sit down and iron out. We've done this before. And there are people who lead that effort, who has the country at heart, and they were very serious. They map out a process where people had buy-in. And that's what led us to get someone who is an unknown person, but they had a process. They said 70 delegates. And people trust that process. But you cannot come here and dictate and take sides and thinking that people are going to take you seriously. They're not going to take you seriously.
My question is, and this is where I see the cop out. We all understand the difference.
Call it a cop out, call it anywhere, because I don't cop out for nothing.
Let me
Absolutely.
allow me to, Daniel.
No, you can say whatever you want, because I know you now. I mean, it doesn't bother me.
Question about this third rail Pasamba. He asked me, what do you mean specifically? And I came out and I said, this is what I mean. Hamgaman, I mean what I say, and I say what I mean, irrespective of the gallery or how they're going to judge me. So I'm asking him, you said, forget about the third force. What we need is a comprehensive. It's the sorest way. But that's the easy part. The difficult part is to put the meat on the bone. And you have an opinion. What do you think? That's why I call it the Marom doctrine. What do you
I have no doctrine.
Hold on.
Quit putting slogans on everything and making it a futile. It's not a futile exercise. We're talking about making a coalition. You can laugh all you want. And this is why people are not taking us seriously as pundits.
What do you mean?
No, I'm telling you. You have to be impartial and you have to be credible. That is very, very important in this process. And especially 2026. You've been to Gambia. It's not about being cop out, doing this. What is your marong? It doesn't matter. Who am I? What I'm trying to say is more sensible and more fair and is credible.
No, but what I'm saying is, I don't want you to come and side with any individual or party.
I don't care. But no, I'm not going to do that because you cannot dictate that.
I would have you come out and said, okay.
No, but that's my opinion. You have to respect my opinion.
I do.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Because you're making commentary.
No.
You're making commentary that I would not make to you. You're saying you're copying out, you're doing this. Those are adjectives. It doesn't help with the debate. This is serious business. Your position is you want to take a position. I really think this whole third force is a preemption. And I ask you a straightforward question. Is that because you really think UMC are not going to accept a UDP-led coalition? No. Hold on. Musa, came do food fee. We listen to each other. We know each other. We had conversations.
Manila. If we are going to be honest commentators, because you never understand the political.
Your honesty is subjective, though. It's subjective.
All I'm saying is, if we want the opposition parties to come together in a comprehensive manner, I don't think it's going to hurt to get into the specifics. Not what you. I mean, I'm just saying because there are a lot of floating trial balloons out there. How this
and Musa Jeng's methodology or formula towards that is a winnable candidate, a sellable candidate. And that might not be in line with what I think. And you have to respect that, bro.
I do respect that. And you know I respect you immensely.
No, man, absolutely not. So what is the cop out? What do you expect me to say on this platform that's gonna make you satisfied?
Is for you to walk me through. Give me a scenario that Sariang believes.
I just told you.
Would be fair, impartial. The process itself, the specifics, not just I'm not going to dictate to them. We're not dictating to anybody. We're saying these are the specifics that I believe in. If they follow you to the T, you will see that process. Whoever becomes the candidate, all of us should be able to throw our support behind that person. So I thought I was asking you to come up with those specifics. But
Musa, you came from a different orientation. I don't force my thinking on people. I have a dialogue and I empower people. And I think these folks, who am I sitting in Vancouver? There is 22 political parties. They need to map out. If they are not capable of drawing a formula within internally, whereby they would have buy-in to sway other parties to come their side, Who am I to dictate that? And that is your position. I don't want to take that position. I don't want to be in that. I want folks to map out what their positions are and correct any nuances or differences and move on. We did it before. It's feasible, but we got to get people who needs to lead this pack, not someone who thinks that he needs to tell them what to do.
Let me ask you this. Maybe bring it much closer to home. We had two experiences, this coalition building. There was one in 2006. There is one in 2016. Which process do you think can be applicable in 2026? And what
I don't know.
What do you mean I don't know?
I don't know, and I will leave that up to the opposition, the political parties to mop out the process.
This is the problem that I'm talking about. I mean, you've been around in 2006. You've been around.
It doesn't matter. 2016 and 2026 are different, Musado.
You don't have an opinion.
It's different.
No, by Pasamba, please. He's telling me he doesn't have an opinion.
No, I don't have an opinion. I will leave up to the opposition parties to map out.
Come on now.
I'm not going to be a lightning rod to undermine the process. I'm not going to do it.
Sariang munge daw.
Yes, it's okay.
Munge daw.
It's all right. It's okay.
You witnessed 2006. You've witnessed 2016.
So, Mos, let me ask you a question. Which of
it doesn't matter.
You prefer?
Hamgal, the one that I prefer would be 2006, and there is a reason for that. Because the
2016 or 2006?
2006.
Okay.
That's the NAT.
The NAT formula. First, they agreed on the issues. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. An agreement, make it as comprehensive as possible. How the change is supposed to happen. They took care of that. 2006. Then they got into which party is going to lead it. In 2006, they said not a single party would lead it. It would have to be done under a different umbrella. All of us belong to that umbrella. I'm just telling you specifics. I don't cop out. I tell you. People can agree or disagree, or they can call me I'm an idiot, or I'm this, or I'm that. But I tell them what I tell them. I say what I mean what I say. Now, the selection process. The reason why I think that the delegate formula may not work very well, because of what we experienced in 2020, in 2016. You know, the bribing and the going back and the delegates, and how do you allocate those delegates? Is it be equal across the board? Because there are some parties, you know, if newly formed party, would you give them the same delegates that you will give a UDP, for instance? So it gets a little bit, and this is where I like the consensus building. Consensus. They sit down and said, okay, we agreed that these are the things that we want to do when we get into power, and we're going to do it under this umbrella. Then they get into, okay, who do we have that is going to represent us? Because you only have one candidate to run against the incumbent. Consensus building meaning we give and take. We go back. We said, we look at it. The candidate, who do we think will be able to win? They agree to disagree. Out of that consensus, emerge a candidate that represents this new force. That's why I like the 2006 formula. So if any change, I think this is viable, and this can defeat President Barrow, if you ask me. Again, I'm putting meat on the bone. I'm telling specifically what needs to be done. I expect from Brother Maron to tell me.
I can tell you right now, the formulas that you state right here, it's not feasible in 2016. You're gonna build resistance upon resistance,
okay,
and that's why it's better. Hold on, here's the thing.
Which part is not feasible? Tell me.
No, both formulas. Both formulas.
Let me just answer. Go ahead, Sarian.
Both formulas. You have to understand the main consensus of coalition building at this current moment is we are the bigger party. We have 27%. And someone else is saying I'm the winnable candidate. I am transformative. And that brings a divide. So in order to take yourself out of, you don't need to insert and tell them this is what you're going to do. Because 2006, there was no correlation. There was accusation and accusation. Use the same exact words. When some political party didn't expect that they're going to win, they cop out. I'm not going to take that position because I think coalition building, despite it's not everything, you're not going to get everything that you needed, but it needs to be fair. So that's why it's very, very important to have a conversation. The conversation needs to start with the political parties. They need to sit down and say, this is the reason why we think we need to leave. And the other counter talk about it, and they map out a process. That process, I'm not going to sit here and dictate and tell them this is the position I take. I think it's still feasible. But if we take a position before folks sit down and map out, I think that we will not be seen as credible. And I wanted to be seen as credible.
Pasamba, you asked me a question, and I answer, I put meat on the bone. He said it's not feasible. I want him to tell me that lack of feasibility, what will he replace it with? That's just I'm asking.
I don't need to replace nothing. The onus lies on the political parties.
Okay, Musa, let me interject here. What is happening here is why building a coalition is very difficult. It is an easy part. We are not necessarily attached to it. We are not going to be sitting at the table making the decision. The issue that you have, though, 2006, NAD, the parties were not many. And so, even with NAD, it's very similar to what happened in 2016. And this is why. Because if you remember very well, when the UDP went to the 2001 elections, they boycotted the National Assembly elections because of irregularities. All right. 2011 presidential elections, National Assembly, both camps, among the United Front and the UDP coalition, they both agreed to boycott the National Assembly elections because of irregularities. So meaning right there, all these parties had something in common because they had concerns about irregularities of voters, and they saw a disadvantage based on the electoral processes. When NAD was registered, like you said, Musa, you wanted to be an entity, but when they went to do the nomination, it was mostly partisan. Because Usainu was nominated by a UDP guy. OJ was able to get Duloba and Pamane. Pamane now, interestingly, is the campaign manager of Nakalatuda, the UDP. Syria and Amisila nominated Halifa because Halifa was neutral as the coordinator. When we went to the last 2016 elections, Usainu as a candidate in 2011 was no more eligible to run. He was, in fact, there, he was in jail. Sibopa. So it was very difficult to, in fact, say, so it was easier to come up with this formula on 70 delegates. This time around, I don't think it's going to be that easy. Again, I come back to what I was saying, Musa, earlier. The urgency, being a more push on guy, pull opposition muna happen because it was a threat. Their existence was threatened as political parties based on what was going on. That's not the case anymore.
So Pasamba, look, I hear you. We all are saying it's difficult and it's complex, and you basically reaffirming that. But all of us are saying the way to defeat him is a comprehensive one.
Yes.
So the same question that I asked Sariang, if we're not willing to come out and say, for it to work, this is what I think. Now, this, Key Ganimis Zainab Musa, your whole narrative is centered for the benefit of your candidate. But what I said, how does it help any candidate To be very honest, how does it in any way lean? All I said is very simple. Let them agree on the issues that they want to run on. Secondly, let them make it an independent entity. It doesn't have to be UDP or UMC or any other party. It will be just something law. How does that help a particular candidate? And then I said, the selection process should be consensus building.
This is what I believe, man. The selection process.
Yes. So
I will go with the 2016 formula.
With the delegate count.
And instead of 3 years, I will say 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say the candidate would be independent, even though we saw what ended up happening with all that stuff.
Right.
Okay. But the voting, the delegates would be proportional representation.
Proportional?
Yes, it's going to be based on your performance the last election, just so that we can have something going on. If you are a party that has never participated in the process, these are the number of votes that you're going to have, because we have to have some way of it would be attractive for all. Let's say you try to write that in 2011,
right,
during to the elections,
right,
where I accused you that you were writing a coalition in favor of the UDP.
Exactly.
But to 2011,
right,
even though at that time, Agenda 2011, that suggestion was we can even have the representation based on performances in the last election. Just we can, UDP, if they believe they had this many of maybe these things the last election, they would have more delegates or whatever. So that you are not dismissing people's performances
absolutely
from the last elections.
Absolutely.
Let's say, okay, UDP, you had 27% of the votes the last time.
Right.
Based on that, you are eligible to have this many delegates.
Right.
Mama Kande, you had, what was it, 8% or 10% or whatever. Based on that, this many delegates. Joy, you had this thing. Based on that, this number of delegates. SFR, this. Anybody who did not participate in the last elections, in the process, you are a new thing, you will have this many delegates.
Fixed delegate allocation.
Fixed delegate allocation. And now, the challenge would be to the parties that you chose. Listen, you are new in the process, Sibopam.
Right.
Usainu maybe has his 27% in the bank. He's not going to lose that.
Right.
Maybe Suko lose, it's not going to be more than 3%.
Right.
As a new party, your goal moy to win all those things to you.
Got you.
So now what we are asking you to do now at a micro level, moy now go and convince all these other delegates to vote for you.
To vote for you. I agree.
And Musa, when you have such a formula and it is agreeable,
right,
we can go. They can put up their candidates.
Right.
Whoever wins.
Wins.
Yes. But we'll also set very reasonable and easily actionable agreements.
Yes.
It's a 5-year term. Okay? But mom is more difficult to have somebody to agree to. Okay? In 5 years, you step out of the way.
Anyway.
And what are we going to do within the next 5 years? We'll have a new constitution. This is our idea of what a constitution is going to look like. These are some of the bottlenecks that we had. These are things that we're going to make sure they will form part of this thing.
Absolutely.
When we go to the National Assembly, we can get the same way we can say that, you know what, we'll make it in a way we'll all have a chance to have representation in the National Assembly.
Yes.
We set all that agreement. It's not going to be easy. One thing that people must understand, coalition building has never been easy anywhere.
Exactly.
Particularly and especially in a country where Rao Gadula is one round of voting.
Yes.
But I believe, Nemusa, when you have such an agreement,
yes,
you may be able to come out of it with a coalition that will be acceptable.
I totally agree. I absolutely do agree. At least you're putting meat on the bone.
And my meat reg man gis nga lamb bo xamne ni, you know, comme yu saria di lay woné ci li nga xamne soko you know, nga xamne dafa sey gemeng. That's
what I'm saying is, but what I'm reminding Sariang Moine, We're not dictating to people. Ñun as commentators, unless and until we get to the nitty gritty, we float the specifics. I'm telling you.
Here's no. Before you even go to that far, I have a response to Ami Sise and Mr. Wada. I think they are reading this wrongly. I'm not a militant. I speak my mind. I believe, Musa, you can be witness to this sometimes. I am not scared to state my position. And I think what I'm stating here is also, I'm not going to dictate. That doesn't mean that. And Mr. Wada, you've said this, and with all due respect to you on this platform, you label me as a UDP guy. My position is UDP has to lead this, others has to. I think that is flawed. And it's just not true. I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to call you outright on this one. And I mean, with all due respect, my sister, I'm not a militant. I am not. I wish you could be part of some of the conversations that I have. Okay. So I'm not going to take a position because Musaje wants me to take a position on this platform. I will leave people. I think they are it. One thing I know, I'm not born yesterday. 2006, 2016, totally different political landscape, totally different. And we have to be careful though. Some of the pronouncements that we say here, I think people need to get out. We have folks, APAC, who are working out the modalities. And I am behind them 100% in their effort. Whether it's going to yield results, it's yet to be seen. But I watched that program an hour. I was traveling that day with Dr. Gay. Musa, you asked her to name people why. She said no. Because if she does, it undermines, people will know. And I think that's a credible way of going back things. You have to be impartial, execute, talk less, and follow the process. It's not copying out or whatever. No, but that's my approach. And I think we need to respect that. Behind the scene, who I talk to, you don't know. And I'm not going to disclose it on this platform because it's none of your business. Because at the end of the day, what I want is all we desire is change. And we cannot stand a position, because if you stand this position, even if today's political environment, they will accuse you. They will say, oh, you're taking sides, you're doing this, you're doing this. But your voice needs to have an impact without people seeing you as aligning yourself with someone or forcing someone upon them. And I think that's my position, and it's not going to change.
Let me say this. I don't believe, and I know you well, that you're a UDP militant. Haniko, the Sariyang that I know, I don't have to vouch for you. I am absolutely certain of that. I don't even believe that you're not taking a position. Somehow you believe in the UDP's position. I don't believe that. I'm just talking about me and knowing you. That's not what is motivating you. I know that. What I'm criticizing you, Moine, you don't want to come out and say exactly what you think should be a fair process, because by doing that, you're injecting yourself in it. Man, I do believe we have to do that if we want to help the Apex people by coming out and saying, like I asked Pasamba the same question, because some of you just dismiss my
No. But when did that's Pasamba's opinion? But my position and Pasamba's opinion might be different. It's okay.
I agree.
Yes.
This is why I'm bringing that morning. We have to inject ourselves in the process as well and say things irrespective of how people are going to see us. We're biased.
I am Musa. One day I can tell you, I don't care who see me what. I took bullets for going out and sitting there. I don't care about all that stuff. You probably, I don't care about those. What I care about is, I think it's very important to be measured in our utterances. I think that's very, very, and to be credible. That's very, very important. And we will help in this process.
Yeah, well,
I think that's important. And that is the position I'm going to take until 2016. I'll give my analysis. And I will speak where it's credible. But I am not copying out. No, hold on. How am you here? What time? I'm just letting you know I want to be credible, and I will do what I can do in my power to reach out and say, hey, let's do this, let's do this. This is important, this is important. And I will maintain that position. And I think you need to respect that, Faramos.
You know, all through the coalition building process, you know, I have never settled for the fact, we just leave things as it is. Because I never thought, that will move the thing. It's not going to move 1 inch. The difficulty. 2006, when it was hot as hell, I came and I put out a proposal which basically favors UDP. Plain and simple, because I read the dynamics. I'm like, Lini, pour mo am, nila wara muna.
2011.
No, 2011 was the allocation of delegates. You remember 2006, when Fatu Jaumane was all over me, when I said nay, you remember the proposal that I put out to save the Gambia Democracy Project. And then you guys rejected it. 2011, when I said, Moine, the problem on the delegate allocation, why don't we use the 2006 elections as a benchmark? And based on the number of percentage votes you have, that would be the delegate allocation to the party. Because the problem was, you hear UDP say all the time, don't jël parti bu ndaw ak parti bu mag nga emale leen, and they said numbers. And you know what? There is some truth to that. I cannot have 240,000 bankable votes. You should step aside and allow Kinga Hamne amu 2 votes pour mu lead. I mean, hell nangu lolu. Even if we believe even whatever you believe their candidate cannot win. That's just subjective. So if we're going to create a process, then that has to be factored in. That is why I did not.
So I gave you the answer to this whole coalition.
I didn't push back on that. I didn't push back. That could be seen as fair. Across the board, every participating candidate will be given a fixed amount of delegates. 20, 20, 20, whatever. As long as you are aspiring, putting up a candidate, you will be given 20 delegates. We have to have a criteria now.
Yep.
Any time they can have to get into the process there. It has to be, understand? They have to step. No, bro.
No. For the delegate allocation.
No.
The party must be registered as a political party.
Yeah.
If you're not registered,
this is the criteria that I'm talking about. Either parties has to be registered so that any other looming independent candidate will be out of the equation. Yes or no? I mean, we have to find
Lola, because we have to have, because a party that is registered and everything that they go through to get registered,
yes,
to maintain their registration, those are the ones. If you're not registered, you want to run as an, go and do it. So, because you don't have any
way. Because definitely, you haven't demonstrated a way, you even have voters out there. If you're registered, you went through a process. We have to assume that.
Yeah, right. Because the registration, you have to have the backing of at least a certain number of voters to be registered. So you cannot just come right now because of my job by now, like my upper halis, my figure no. You go sit somewhere.
Exactly. I mean, all for that. There has to be criteria, Bohamne. It will be balanced. It doesn't help party A or party B or party C. All the registered parties will come together, and yes, they will agree what needs to be done. And again, based on what we experienced in 2016, we don't want anybody agreeing to this and turn around and deflulane. That also, we have to look at that very carefully.
No, we have to.
I
can put it together.
And
I think Musa, here is where you are speaking to. And I think that is a big sticking point. And that creates a lot of mistrust that we don't want a repetition of 2016. Yep. Right? And how do you do that? Yes. When and this is we have to have an honest conversation regarding this issue, because there was a lot of issues that happened, and pretty much that is biting us today. And if you don't recognize those issues and you don't want to talk about it, that's a problem to talk about this whole thing or sitting at the table and discussing coalition. Because I think there should be modalities, process clearly spelled out and agreed upon. And there is a buy-in. Majority has to buy in that, because I think that has been an issue. We just spoke about this nomination and all that. I mean, because first of all, when 2016 came around, we concentrate on stuff that we would change and leave the rest that are most important. And today, that is something that we are wrestling with, including for you and I to vote. This could have been taken care of, being on the first agenda. It didn't. So this is an issue, and it's a sticking. Musa, you would not talk to someone who is affiliated, who is a leader in another political party. They didn't bring this issue about 2016. They will say, and you have to listen to them. You cannot be dismissive of their concerns. It's very, very important. And I think that is something that needs to be ironed out in an open and honest manner. If not,
I agree. We have to have that conversation. But politically, we need to in fact get it right. Musa, man, I believe if you have elections, national elections, presidential, National Assembly, and council elections, and you did not even put up candidates for 20% of the seats, you'll be deregistered. Because it doesn't make any sense. And if you're running as an independent, unless you are backed officially by political parties have at least participated in the process, you will not be allowed to run. And this is where I'm coming. Basangyan, no nonsense with this independent. I had that conversation with you, Musa. We had our Congress. I was in the coordinating committee of that. We coordinated the whole Congress. Musa, the amount of trouble that these parties go through to organize these Congresses,
it's expensive.
The amount of money that you spend,
yes.
You bring your delegates from all over the countries, you house them, you feed them, you transport them, you get all these things. Delegates, you talk for, like they say, the last Doi Congress, from 9 a.m., then 9 a.m. in the morning, they were there.
Yeah.
Then you just get up one day and say, I want to run as an independent. So you don't go through any of this process to register your political parties. You know what you guys are going to do. UMC, you drive all over the country. You have to have this thing. You go through that process. And then all of a sudden, somebody who has not done anything besides the election run as an independent to become president, it's not fair. Something needs to change.
There's something wrong about that.
Yeah. Register your party, yes. But if you cannot put up candidates, you are not a political party. With the register, you keep your money.
I totally agree. I've always had a problem with, Manma Yosa, we went back and forth on coffee time on these parties jumping all over the place. I've always had a problem with that. Not you stifle civil liberties or the democratic process, but it has to have a
there should be some regulations. It
has to be, because the process is just all over the place. It doesn't help. Yo, man talk fi ba man I'm an independent candidate. I haven't lifted a finger because I'm just waiting for all of us to sit at a table that I can be seen as a stakeholder. No, that I have a problem with. Now, and this is it's a constitutional issue. There's independent candidacy in the Constitution. You know what I mean? And that needs to be looked at. Really. It really, really needs to be looked at. Because if you say in a party forming a coalition together, they get a candidate, there is always a provision for a merger. They can merge and put up a candidate. And that
you can just change the language. One can stand as an independent if he is backed by a registered political party.
That's the clause right there. It takes care of it. But
it's just too much. My next candidate. Congratulations for having me.
Really?
It's like our whole politics have become just this big joke. And that's what I'm talking about, Musa. The quality is not there.
No.
Because of the regulation. We can control it. To where if you form a political, you have to, it's not a matter of, you have to open bureaus and no, you have to participate. They have you open all these bureaus.
For a reason.
And guess what happens as a bureau? If you are friends with the UDP, you can create and you can claim that that's part of your bureau. These are all things that are happening. So they are not even standing on their own. The UDP hejal mawa ñu na okay bul worry comme NRP naka NPP yeneen parti si nga ñëw na bul worry suñ bureau bu nekk fi yow mën nga fa am togu suñ ñëw rek ñu ne bi mo nekk sa office.
No, it doesn't even make sense. It's like you're compromising the process. Because we want to believe a political party that is out there, you're spending money, resources, and logistics. But I'm not into this business. It has to be about an individual. It has to be about a group of people that wants to form a political party. They are passionate about it and they're willing to invest their time and energy and whatever it takes to form that party. It's not about whether Musa Jeng Amna Khalis or not. It has to be people first. You gotta have people with you. Seriously, why the job fini like? No, sorry, I mean it's the honest to God truth. And
No,
I mean,
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Senegal, they're having the same problem, same paranas we that they're talking about. Because you get am problems, huh? They have almost 200 and something parties all over the place. they got more problems than we do, but they've made it so difficult. I mean, for you to participate,
Mariama C wants me to take a position because she's been very, very nice and very respectful. Mariama, I tell you what, come October, I'll take a position. But one thing I can tell you right now.
If I late.
What? Don't worry about. Don't rip it. I make my own decision. Okay. Don't worry about it. What I do. Just do your UMC thing and leave me alone. Okay.
Why you throw UMC?
All right. So Mariama, I will definitely take a position. Mariama, no problem. What I like to see though, I like to see credible people, Council of Elders, to augment APAC and bring some type of sanity into these discussions, okay? So I really, really would love to see that because I think, that would help, drive consent. It's not about, but, people have different opinions, how they gravitate towards who is a winnable candidate, who is, who has the majority, right? So, but people, sanity has to take place. They have to have a conversation. At the end of the day, I think sanity needs to prevail. All right, Faramos, I ask you, respect how we say it in the military. I respectfully request for you to respect my opinion. Until then, 10:15, I'll make a.
Which I do.
And don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. I might come into this. I said after much reflection and prayer and consultation, I wanted to endorse President Barrow for 5 more years.
Basamba. Everything that I said today, any doesn't think it helps party A or party B or party C. The position that I have taken, I'm taking it because of UMC. That is not. No, I don't even think that would be anywhere close to what UMC is thinking.
No. UMC, Musa. UMC, I think, until you guys are registered.
Registered. We're not worried. I'm just pulling your leg.
Because you kept making.
No, you gotta correct the registration process first to be registered.
Let me tell you this: registration more gonna yomba.
Date.
Out of all the parties that were turned down to make corrections, not a single one of them went back to the IEC.
Well, maybe they're correcting.
Why we did? Because we have the infrastructure. Mune kuy door moy mun kuy saga.
Yen dooru len saga gu len.
Kuy door.
Xam nga wax nga lolu kerek manela. Adama Barrow dafa door dafa saga. Mu ngi am alel gi. Mu ngi am
So registration in UMC, that's the list of our problems.
Okay.
What we're talking about is unifying.
You know what? Yeah. No, what?
But when you talk about unifying, when your preposition is the third force, I'm a little confused. You know.
That boy you bokut. You bokut.
No, third force and you have third force and is UMC in mind, So third force and is UMC in mind,
No, I know Musa when you're copying out. Why Musa said talent be man understand now kode talent.
The third force, that's the default when everything is said and done. Because your Pasama, that there are going to be coalitions.
No, there will be coalitions, Musa. And when I talk about key, Barrow winning, I'm not saying it because I'm pessimistic. It's not that. It's based on the realities that I know, and I've laid it out here. Musa, the best chance that you guys have to defeating Barrow is a comprehensive coalition. If you have more than,
you're taking yourself out of it. I don't understand that.
yeah, Bukumachi is on too much. And then the other chance you in fact have maybe few percent chances more if Barrow goes against two other candidates. If it is more than two, kuneka tahaw sama ngir vinam sabari jolli moto yi now. Barrow gis nga yaa nga fale ko woy bu
like a
woy bu ñaan Musa woy bu radio Gambia di laan teg taay boobu noonu Gambe nangu leen Modou Musa Njie ne Jawara gagné na moom dañ ko doon riwoy ne Gambe nangu leen Adama Barrow gagné na it's just going to be an easy win. So but anyway,
from 2026
December 6 daal
December 6 and there will be surprise.
Okay.
But who is going to be surprised? The opposition that think they were going to win, or those who think that Barrow was going to win? So,
of course, the general consensus for people like you, Moine, Barrow got this in the bag.
So let me ask you.
Don't twist the conversation. He asked you a straight up question.
Musa, you went to Gambia. Tell me somebody who is not aligned, even if they are aligned to this, who told you the opposition we will defeat Barrow? You went, them guys, Musa Cooper, you went to Kawur, you went to everywhere. What is the consensus that you have from people?
Look.
So they get look right. Let me answer it this way.
Yeah, he's thinking about the answer. Just answer the question straightforward.
Moine, we only had, you don't even need for me to go to Kawur anecdotal evidence. All you need to do is look at the polling data that says most Gambians believe Barrow is going to win. So Bobo Mom, it's there.
No, I love Kampong Jata. When you're speaking like a broke guy, claiming money is not a problem or issue.
I understand it, but I didn't get it. Kampong,
when a broke guy who is claiming that money is not the problem or the issue. I'm going to problem.
So meaning what? I want
meaning somebody who is broke has no money but claiming them a problem
for something. He's not saying, he's saying for something.
What he is telling you, Moine, an opposition that knows that they are not going to win, but you're acting like that's not the issue.
The opposition that's not going to win? Not a single vote has been casted, and you guys are already saying that the opposition is not going to win. Manila, opposition winning is in their hands.
Are they acting like they want to win?
They exploit the vulnerability of the incumbent, then the incumbent will be defeated. But
are they, based on your observation, are they?
You didn't even answer the question. He asked you were in Gambia, give the fair assessment. You are quoting the polling and all that. Just give your own assessment. What is your feeling? What is on the ground?
Bro, I'm going to smile when my feeling is you guys are going to say that I'm being partisan. Because what I recognize, I found a country that understands the change has to happen. A country that believes they come 2026, we need something new and different. I could see that. I feel that.
So
I also see.
Could that new and different be a new president and not necessarily a younger person or a newer candidate?
Of course, it could be. I'm not saying a candidate A or candidate B. All I'm saying is what I saw in Gambia after everything that President Barrow has done, whether it's in terms of the road construction, the infrastructure, and all of that, and even some of these things about, a semblance of democracy and the feeling of rule of law, Pasamba, and all that other stuff, Gambians still yearn for change. I could see it, I could feel it anecdotally, and then the affordability issue. So, Nyom Bugunyo come December 6th with the same old. And I've seen something new in the horizon. I could feel something new in the horizon. And that the Gambian youths are ready to not only get themselves involved, but vote for change. What am I hope?
So are you going to the Gambia to be registered?
Why are you personalizing all these questions?
No, you are so much into it. So
I'm saying there is something new in the air.
And what is that?
ñu ne ku demul ganaar xam ne guddi la ñuy reer kuy doora mun kuy saaga. We'll see. We're going to allow things to. I could tell you one thing. UMC is going to register around the 8th and the 9th. UMC is going to launch the party. Suboba, I want everybody to reserve their opinion how this election is going to go.
So are you going to go to the launching?
Tenku.
Are you going to the launch?
All I'm saying is this. There is going to be politics 2026 dafa ute de xaw ma nag fan la affaire bi di fan la ñambi ji di demee but we'll see.
Am nga dafa mel ni Cerno Touré loo dafa laan wax mu ne xam nga football si na mbokk la waaw soo demee ba xew na foo dégg tëf-tëf ki ngay dégg xam nga mboxa su li fi ne ñu ngi lakka mboxa everywhere so football la comme si na mbokk la soo xewee daal waaye you know what
so Kampung mu ne the registration is not the issue for UMC.
No, Lolo respond to what he meant when he said you are like acting like a broke man telling people money is not the problem or the issue. You know,
so when the registration is not the issue for UMC. So what is the issue for UMC then?
No. You're not getting it, Musa. I'm gonna find you act like a broke guy.
Right.
You know, claiming the money is not the problem or the issue. Because your registration is the list of your issues.
Yes.
That's not an issue. So that's what he's saying. What he's emphasizing more, indeed, registration is an issue.
No, it's not. Registration is a done deal.
It's not a done deal. You were rejected. No, well, not rejected. You were asked to go and correct. And unless that correction happens and you are registered, it's an issue.
It's not an issue, Napasamba, and you know it.
And how much
registration with Lulu presented, that's the list of our issues because we have supporters, we have voters.
So are you guys the gonna about more motor 5 years?
You know, could do a man kuy saga de bom la ko ci wax.
The last time whether you guys are buying helmets for your people that you get a general nakala.
Yow yaga nga gis partis because bi nga yaga doga politique Gambia yaga na. Parti bu jok wane coloram ni ñu wane suñ color na mas nga koy gis
doy.
I'm talking about truth. Nañ waxante dëgg.
No, but doy said was massive.
Like a newly formed party. Man musuma ko gis in the Gambia.
No, because you guys have money.
Musuma koy gis. The things that will make you win elections. Musuma ko gis. I've never seen it.
Te yaga nga fi de.
Yes.
Loli ñang daal mu ne fan ngeen jëlee xaalis.
ñoko moom.
This is a public listing de.
Man su ma nekkee candidate and I want to put my money where my mouth is. Okay. From party ba para yow you don't want to put your money where your mouth is.
Well, you know what? Man daal I think as a declaration.
Mu ne naga. Mu accepted.
You accept where you are. Déet Musa kay way. No Zainab. Musa mooy campaign manager ba?
No, li ma mooy ne. Zainab. Tonya, I support UMC. But when it comes to coalition talks, I will tell you what I think can work and what cannot work. Bobo Mom, I will never shy away from that. I mean, in terms of the party that I believe can bring the changes that the country needs, right now, at this juncture, you replace Adama Barrow with Talib Ahmed Bensouda, I think the Gambia will be a different country. I believe that. I seriously believe that. Among all the parties that are out there, I believe he has the solution for the country. On day one, I believe that. Now, that doesn't mean I am not going to support a compromise opposition candidate who we all will support to defeat Barrow. I will, 110%. I hope ne loolu leer na.
Well, anyway, Father Moose is now 4:30.
Yes, Pap Samba, and my brother is back. I think I never them on.
What do you want to be?
What is Jainaba cooking for lunch today, brother man? Yangi mute. Can't do that.
No,
Why?
no, I was praying. So, but before we get off, I forgot our brother Lamin Sane. You know, Lamin Sane OIC. His mom passed away yesterday.
Yes, that's funny.
Ooh.
So I want everyone watching, viewers, our followers, to pray for Allah Subhanahu wa Taala to grant her Jannah and those who went before her. So I wanted to share that. But due to Musa Gang's distraction and political kamikaze, I nearly forgot. But it's all good, you know. I
Yeah,
still love you.
that's sad because
Yes,
uh,
yes.
listen, losing a father, a mom, a parent, is the hardest thing.
Mm, mm,
It is.
No, may her soul rest in
Mm.
peace. Oh, send Lamin a note.
Yeah, extend our condolences to Lamin Wadegayala.
mm.
Yeah,
Losing
that's
mom,
a hard one.
it is always, no matter how old they are, is the worst thing that can happen to an
Oh,
individual.
yeah, like chapter.
Unless I yai dena, Mushibagumel Nunu is the worst thing.
Tough, man. I went through yesterday. I spoke to him, man. I told him, I said, it's tough. You know, back in 2004, my mom was here. And, you know, she said, I want to go home. You know, my mom, my grandmother was at the house and said, oh, I miss my mom. And I need to go home. I need to go home. She left in December. January, February, March, she passed away, you know.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was very, very hard for all of us, you know. We had to struggle with it, you know.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So very, very tough. So I told him that, you know, it's tough, but you know, God always take our folks away, you know, when he needs them most. So we have to cope with the grief and continue to pray, you know. So
It's a very hard one.
no, it is really, really hard. Very, very hard. Definitely. Really hard.
It doesn't matter, man. After my mom passed away, anytime I go to Kaur, at our house, I do not have Maria Sapi. Even my sister get tired of my crying. Because man, I am such a when it comes to that. And it's true. I don't handle that very well.
Musa, yesterday I was just telling Lamin. I said, my mom passed away in 2004. Musa, I didn't want to go to Gambia. My sister convinced me over he says, I said, no, nobody's there for me. My grandma passed away because, you know, my mom passed away. My grandma couldn't deal with the situation. She passed, no one is there for me. I'm not coming there. I said, oh, but I'm here for you. I said, well, no, you're not like my mom. I'm not coming there. You have your own family. So it took me up to 2011.
Wow.
Yes, to go back to Gambia, you know, for like a visit or something, because there was absolutely, because I said, whenever I go there, I think about my mom. So I didn't want to do it, you know, so it took a while.
Terrible experience.
Yeah, it took a while.
It is. And it definitely is. Every time you hear somebody's mom die,
Yes.
you think of man gis nga korite ak living. And I was just telling somebody father the other day, it always reminds me of my mom. It's like man ko visualize, you know, you rido you SEK, you know, churai. So it's all the thing, but you know, life mom is transient, and will go, and very soon, they will be here talking about us, you know.
While it's a very soon.
And also, before I even forgot, there's another guy who passed away, a brother, Pamani. He lives in Portland too. You know, I got the message last week.
Oh,
he
really?
also passed away. Yes, the burial is gonna be on the 28th of March. So I want everyone to include him in your prayers as well. So, you know, he's a brother. I think Pai is from Nyumi, I believe. So right, he lived in Brikama shortly too. You know, and you know, he also passed away, and the funeral arrangements are going to take place March 28th. So please include him in your prayer and everything else. So is life,
No, life is what it's life. It's
yàlla xaree leen àjjana sarax yàgga ci suñ loxo.
Amen, amen, amen.
Sorry, and there was something that you said, and I don't know if you meant it or it was just you said you're going to wait till October, and there's even a possibility that you may endorse the president. And I wanted to
he was just joking.
but then I just want to understand.
Well, Luta, but lolu suma opinion la. Why can't you just leave me alone? Man, dama buga fuma neka ni man fini since 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock my time, it's almost 1:35. But
based on there's
huh?
a possibility of endorsing the president.
No, I think he was just joking.
Pasamba, can you speak for yourself and allow the man to speak?
Coach, I knew he's just gonna glean under this, man.
He was waiting.
Yes.
He was waiting.
Yes.
No, dama buga mu leer.
Well, I said in October. So wait till October. Why Lutanga Yakamti?
So are you insinuating there?
I am not insinuating. I'm not insinuating Dara Manela. I make my decisions. Yeah, you keep calling me a low-hanging fruit. Yeah, you gave me that title, right?
No, I didn't say that. No, that didn't come from me. That come from what's his name? Boy Fatty. But
no. You came with that title. Now Ibrahim Silla follows suit, and Boy Fatty pick it up from you all the time. He say low-hanging fruit. So bye, ma, Musa.
No deposit, flexible payment plans, and lots of discounts. Get your legal apartment today.
Like what it is. We'll definitely be back next Sunday, inshallah. Hopefully, with Dr. Cisse. It will be an interesting
Musa Jeng's and UMC's best friend. You know. Guy named Mofineka the Dylan Dui Chappy. Dr. Cisse, Mofineka the Dylan Dui Chappy. Guy UMC in him, Molene puts and plus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he take on Musa, on coffee. I never listened to that. I did someone forward it to me and say, hey, did you hear this when Doctor was taking on Musa Jeng? It was, Musa Jeng was very responsible to bring UDP apart.
They made Musa Jeng so important for a few weeks.
Wallahi, if he talks like this, they make him so powerful. They say, Musa, here, Abagalbe Samakana UMC. So Musa, you're not credible to sit on the table at the coalition comprehensive by new neutrality. You do your bit, no problem. We will meet at a meeting point, some point, okay? So there is more than one way to skin the cat. So take my way, you take your way, Koi took its way, all right?
All right. Anyway, we will be back next Monday, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Hopefully, we'll have Dr. Cisse. We'll ask the questions. Doctor is a fighter. I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to come here and he will answer all the questions. We'll take him to task like we always do, with respect and civility. No doubt about that. He's an honorable minister, and we have to treat him as such. And but again,
we really need
Zainab, can you give your rating today based on your observation? And I want you to be, because my sister, I know you are very fair and objective. So I would love to have your rating, sister. Please, before we sign off, can you give your impartial rating for today? Because you said it's a great show. Please rate us, please.
Why you go to smart NCP and then you ask them to be You know, Zainab Suma NCP la. And it was a time worth spending. That's Omar. Get out of here.
Why
I was waiting for Zainab.
Omar la kii tudda bu fi nekk na Omar mel ni xaw ma lan ku leen ni mu slang mel ni saabali Omar
Zainab Ganim.
Mustafa
I cannot handle curiosity. But woman Demba, you have to explain that to me afterwards. Curiosity.
No. Here is the call. Hamgadli ni causing slang. They said, "Hey, why is your boy behaving like a rookie, man? Laugh like LOL. What else did he expect? Didn't he learn from the struggle? He expect people who endorse his movement in private to come out publicly." that is from the cousins, Musa gang.
You know, Naga, what they say? I missed that.
why are you acting like a rookie?
Why am I acting like a rookie? Meaning what?
You know, believe in anything will just leave parties and join another one and all that stuff. You know, so
You know, well, we're going for where the bulk of the votes are, the non-affiliated.
yeah, I think it was when you were talking about the people who don't want to show their hand.
Oh,
That's what he meant. That's what he
I
meant.
have to. I'm not being a rookie. I'm just reminding them. Yes, we have to take them to task.
Why?
No?
Everybody has a right to participate or not
They
participate.
can have to write all they want. Then bunyo tangkal nak.
Get
If
it.
things go our way, don't be behind the scenes and saying this needs to happen or this government.
Right. Basiru Ndaute gave you a rating of 6.5. You know, so
But
the
I don't
lowest
know why you did that just because Nepsa Pastor died. They're not doing very well. It looks like. And people are leaning on Jumai coalition for 2028.
My coalition that he's going to lose.
All right, guys.
All right, man.
Later.
Zainab said she looked forward to meet you on the battlefield. Foofu la affaire bi muna gëna leer nak. So